Friday night baseball on the U.S. PBL Network. It's our Friday Fireworks Spectacular, and we've got a spectacular game scheduled for you as it's the Westside Woolly Mammoths visiting the Utica Unicorns. That's Brady Beaton. I'm Brendan Shabath. Thank you so much for joining us, Brady. Unicorns playing in a back-to-back today, coming off a good win yesterday, 8-1 over the Beavers. All 8 of those runs coming in the first 2 innings on 7 hits. Pretty big. The offense fizzled out a little bit the rest of the way, but for a team who's really just been struggling for offense, it felt really good for the Unicorns to put up some runs.
It did, but I'm very curious, as you mentioned, with all those runs coming in the first 2 innings. I'd like to see how they bounce back tonight. If the last 7 innings were an indicator of how the season is gone, or if the first 2 innings they figured it out, kind of put it on cruise control a little bit the rest of the way. That's what I want to see from the Unicorns, consistencies. Yeah, they burst out in a big way to get the 5 runs in the first, but then, again, 7 scoreless innings to end the game. Let's see how if they can put 2 together, 2 big offensive performances.
And the interesting thing about their 8 runs in those first 2 innings, it was a lot of small ball. They got 7 hitters to get a base hit in the first inning. They sent 10 to the plate, but only 1 extra base hit in that first inning. It was a double to lead things off from Lucas Good, and beyond that, it was singles left and right and kind of tough spots for the infield to get to that scored. It's been a power outage for the Unicorns. It's been a power outage for their opponent today in the Mammoths. It's been a power outage in the league. Feels like it's been a while since we had a home run in a public game. You talk about the Mammoths, they have 8 home runs this year, but 4 of those home runs are not on the roster anymore.
Yeah, you don't like when you get to the halfway point of the season and you look up and down the lineup and you have 4 total still there, and with the shuffling you lose a few. And the thing is, all year you look at the lineup and you go, yeah, there's some power in the Mammoths lineup, whether it was guys that got the call like Francis Florentino or guys that are still here like Burl Dixon or some of the new additions. You know that the Mammoths have power. It's just, can they put it together in a game, and then can they get a game where, like the Unicorns, they put up 6-7 runs and maybe get a couple long balls in there as well.
And when you think about how good the pitching has been too, you have to think that has maybe lended itself to a lack of power for some of these teams. Home runs are down all across the league. Chris Davis for the Beavers leads the league in home runs with just 4 as we're after the All-Star break into the second half of the season now. But you kind of mentioned it. There are guys on both of these rosters and all 4 teams that we think can hit for home runs and have shown at previous levels that they can. It just needs to come around. In particular, you look at the Mammoths, guys like Livingston Morris, Fox Liam. They added a new guy from the Los Angeles Angels affiliate organization a couple years ago, Dre Williams-Nelson. He's here now. There's power possibilities here. They just need to put it in play.
Yeah, and you just look at some of the guys, and the Mammoths have some guys where when you show up, if you're just a casual fan coming into your first game, you'll see him on the field and go, yeah, that guy can hit, and he's going to hit for a lot of power. But we do need to give a credit to the pitching staffs all around the league. A lot of guys missing bats, and when they miss, it's more the walks and wild pitches than it is missing middle, giving opportunities for those long balls.
And speaking of some good pitchers in this league, we're going to have 2 tonight. Tristan Harvin is the leader for the Unicorns in ERA, and so is Garrett Martin on the other side for the Mammoths. The 2 right-handers go tonight. Harvin has been really good for the Unicorns all season long. So has Garrett Martin. It should be a good pitching duel between these 2 tonight. It seems like maybe whichever offense can get on the board first is going to have a good chance to win this game.
Well, Harvin and the whole pitching staff for the Unicorns, it's been a big reason why they've been winning, and they've been able to do so despite the poor offensive output, and that the Unicorns are in first place. And for the Mammoths with Martin, you're going to need a guy to go 5-6 innings deep, because you have to turn around and play 2 6-inning doubleheaders tomorrow. You can't tax the bullpen too much early in the weekend, because then you get to that second game against the Diamond Hoppers tomorrow. Going to have to do a little maneuvering if you're Taylor Jelenkowski, but can't put the cart before the horse. Got to get it started here tonight.
We'll see which team can get it started here first. We'll have the lineups and the pitching comparison when we come back after the break. Stick around for more pregame on the U.S. PBL Network.
There are things you can rely on in this world, like your dog being happy to see you, coffee getting you through the day, and the government changing business regulations. And when it comes to navigating those regulations, you can rely on Tryon and its team of attorneys. Tryon can also tackle time-consuming HR tasks like payroll and employee benefits, so you can stay focused on growing your business. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. Fireworks Friday. Friday night baseball here between the Unicorns and the Woolly Mammoths. Let's take a look at our sponsors for tonight's broadcast on the USPBL Network. As always, brought to you by Ascension, Belfour Property Restoration, Budweiser, Dave & Buster's, DTE Energy, Fifth Third Bank, Jarbcom, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, McLaren Macomb, McQuaid Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Refrigeration, Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, and United Wholesale Mortgage. We thank all of our proud sponsors for everything they do for the USPBL and the USPBL Network. Mammoths and Unicorns, first pitches going on down on the field. This gives us an opportunity to take a look at the 1 through 9 for both of these teams tonight. We'll start with the visiting Utica Unicorns lineup. The first place Unicorns at 12-9 after splitting the doubleheader yesterday with the Beavers. They lost the morning game and won the night game that you saw here on the USPBL Network 8-1. Leading off, as he did last night, is Lucas Good, and he was in left field last night, moves over to third base. A little bit of defensive shifts for the Unicorns tonight that we'll get into in the broadcast. A newcomer to the league, Angel Diaz, will bat second and play in left field. Nick Pastor, the everyday center fielder and everyday three-hole hitter, stays in his same spot for the Unicorns tonight. Felix Aberrett, the returning catcher, who made his public debut last night, is again catching and batting fourth tonight. Josh Baker will bat fifth and be the designated hitter for the Unicorns. Patrick Baggett, we talked about some of those defensive changes. Typically at the hot corner at third base, he'll be at shortstop tonight. The switch hitter will bat seventh in the lineup. James Moses is out in right field. He will bat eighth, and Donovan Curiel, who's typically at shortstop, will now go over to second base. He will bat ninth as Tristan Harvin takes the bump for the Unicorns. On the other side, for the 10 and 11 Westside Woolly Mammoths, Jordan Hussein, the shortstop, leads things off tonight for Taylor Jellikowski and his squad. Burl Dixon is the center fielder batting second. Marcos Castillo, another huge cog for the Beavers last year in their run to a championship, returns to the USPBL. He'll be out in right field tonight batting third. He was a big factor in Vaughn Joshua's lineup a season ago that led the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers to a championship. Fox Liam is behind him. He'll play first base and bat cleanup for the Mammoths. Following the powerful Liam is another man with a lot of power, Livingston Morris. He's the designated hitter batting fifth. Ward Hacklin will be out in left field batting sixth. A newcomer to the league, Dravion Williams-Nelson, former affiliate ball player with the Los Angeles Angels organization. He'll bat seventh and play second base. Zach Beadle is the catcher tonight for the Mammoths. He'll bat eighth. And then Alex Garbasic rounds things out for the 9 as he is on the hot corner defensively at third base. Garrett Martin, the leader in ERA and innings pitched for the Mammoths this year, takes the mound. And Brady, this should be a good pitching matchup between these two right-handers, Garrett Martin and Tristan Harvin. Harvin, 2.4 ERA so far this season, 30 innings pitched. Both of those lead the Unicorns. Martin, a 4.63 ERA, 35 innings. He leads the Mammoths in strikeouts. You see 34 strikeouts to 15 walks this season. Pretty good numbers for both of these guys.
Yeah, and you mentioned the walks. That's the number that jumps out to me. Reason why these two guys have been getting the ball repeatedly on the bump as the season has gone on, because they put their teams in positions to succeed. We highlighted both the teams' offensive struggles at the beginning. Again, all around the league there have been struggles offensively, but I want to see again if the Unicorns can carry it over from last night. But both these pitchers should put their team in position to win. Although we thought that yesterday, and then it was 5-0 after an inning.
We will see. Garrett Martin on the mound for the Mammoths as he's warming up in the bullpen you see over there. He's got the interesting mix of four-seam fastball, changeup, curveball, and a forkball. His last start came on June 30th in that 11-2 win over the Beavers. And Brady, you weren't here for that game, but his forkball, we talked about it with Nick Caruso, and we've seen it all year long with Garrett Martin. That forkball, that tumble that Caruso described it as down into the strike zone has been so useful for him this year. It's gotten a lot of swing and miss.
Yeah, you don't see too many breaking balls that are just straight down, and that's usually what you get with the forkball. It just falls off the table straight down, has that almost splitter-like grip when you get rid of it, and that can be a tough one if you're sitting fastball and then you're way over top of it.
For Tristan Harvin, fastball, splitter, curveball, and that splitter kind of mirrors a forkball and acts as the same type of pitch. That splitter will look like a fastball right out of the hand and then drop below a batter's barrel and hopefully avoid some barrels. The Mammoths winners on June 30th against the Beavers. Since then, it's been a 2-game losing streak. They lost in sudden death a couple days ago, last week, back on July 6th to the Unicorns, and that's really no surprise for Taylor Jellikowski. He has just not found a way to win in some of these sudden death games. He has been the victim of a lot of very close losses, he and the Mammoths, in the last 2 years in the extra innings. They are trying to avoid those extra innings at all costs, but this is the first game for the Mammoths since July 6th, 8 days ago. That's one of the conversations that Nick Caruso had with his team as well about, not having live pitching for a while. His Unicorns team went 7 days without live pitching. He wasn't sure they were going to be able to go muster up some offense, but they did last night. Mammoths are going to deal with that tonight.
And that's one of the unique challenges that comes with the USPBL is, unlike some other leagues where you're playing 6 days a week, only being in one ballpark, the nice part is you have no travel. You know where you're playing every night, but you don't get those consistent at-bats. It's harder to get into a rhythm than if you're playing 6 days a week. And then you throw in a 6 or 8 day layoff like you were talking about. Almost like you hit the reset button mentally and physically coming into this game. So if you are hot, you hope to pick up where you left off. If you were struggling, you're hoping that this acts as that reset and you start anew and start fresh here in the unofficial second half of the season.
First game for the Mammoths in the second half after the All-Star break. They had one of the best home run hitters in the home run derby on their team in Livingston Morris, who we will see tonight. Tonight is not only our Fireworks Friday Spectacular, as it is every single night, but it's also Living Donor Awareness Night, which is a very cool thing here at Jimmy John's Field. It's a night to learn about the power of living organ donation, a night to celebrate heroes that save lives by becoming living liver or kidney organ donors. It's a night to honor the medical professionals that also make all of that possible. A special night to be with friends and family watching baseball as we bring together the largest gathering ever of living donor pairs. That's going to happen during the game, I believe, between the second and third innings, the largest gathering ever of living organ donors out in left field, I believe, here at Jimmy John's Field. And pretty cool stuff here today, recognizing not only the living organ donors that we have in our community, but the medical people that make all that possible.
Yeah, and it just kind of fits the theme of the weekend. Yesterday was Heroes Night, First Responders Night, and today the living donors. The weather thought it wasn't going to cooperate for a bit. It's moved through, and now we have just an absolutely gorgeous night for some baseball.
It was funny. We talked to Dre Williams-Nelson, the newcomer for the Mammoths, a native of Houston, Texas, and he felt like he felt a little responsible that he brought some of Houston weather up here with him the first time he's been in Michigan. And he says Houston is very similar bipolar weather that the state of Michigan has, rain and sun and wind and storm. And, we had a little bit of that. It was sunny earlier today, and then it rained for a minute, and then it was sunny again. And then when we got here, they actually had the tarp on the field. The Unicorns lost a little bit of time during batting practice because it rained pretty hard for 8-9 minutes, maybe.
The clouds roll in, and it's like someone dumped a bucket. It came down in droves. And then the sun came out, and now you'd never know it rained here today.
Absolutely. It's a gorgeous day. The wind has died. The flags are relatively calm and relaxed right now. And, we were talking to Nick Caruso, and the wind was blowing out during BP, and then he was hoping it would switch in during game time. And it did about 20 minutes ago. Now it's dead. So we'll see if that has any factor on the balls leaving the park. There haven't been many of those. Not a lot of home runs so far this season for any of these four teams. The home run numbers are down all across the board in the USPBL. If there's a lineup or two lineups, I would even argue, that can change that, maybe it's these two. We'll see coming up after the break. We'll step aside for the anthem. It'll be first pitch in just a few moments right here on the USPBL Network.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Garrett Martin taking the mound for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, making his 8th start of the year. 35 innings of work for him so far. Let's check the defense behind Martin tonight, brought to you as always by Three Dimensional Services. We'll start in the outfield. Left field, it's Ward Hacklin. Burl Dixon in center, and the returner, Marcos Castillo, in right field. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't get to see Marcos Castillo last year, you are in for a treat. This is a ball player in every sense, a guy who can do everything. And I know Taylor Jellikowski is very excited to have him on his team this year as opposed to an opponent like he was last year. On the corners, it's Alex Garbasic and Fox Liam. Up the middle, Jordan Hussein and Dravion Williams-Nelson are the double play combination up the middle, and then it's Zach Beadle rounding out the battery behind home plate, catching Garrett Martin tonight for the 10 and 11 Westside Woolly Mammoths. For the Unicorns, who are in first place, they are 2 games ahead of these Mammoths. It'll be Lucas Gooden, Angel Diaz, and Nick Pastor to start things off here in the first. 2 lefties, Gooden and Pastor. And for Garrett Martin, that is not good news. He's much better this season against righties, almost double the at-bats for righties as opposed to the lefties. But righties hitting 170 this year, the lefties up to 280. Opponents overall hitting just 206. Garrett Martin has been almost unhittable all season long.
Yeah, he's been spectacular. Part of the reason that helps him is the spectacular outfield he has, that you really have to get a hold of one. You have to burn someone bad to get that double or find the gap. I mean, Burl Dixon in center is spectacular. Still think he has the play of the year from earlier in the season. And then when your corner outfielders are Castillo and Hacklin, you're doing all right. You're doing pretty well. There's not a lot of open space in that outfield.
You want to talk about defense and athleticism in the outfield? That's another thing Castillo brings back. We saw it in center last season with the Beavers while Travius Ford at the time was injured, and then when Ford came back, they kind of alternated. But Castillo is going to be a good defender out there in right field as Lucas Gooden digs in. Martin delivers the first pitch. It's a swing and a miss strike at 7:06, and we're underway here in downtown Utica. So glad you could join us. Brady Beat and Brendan Shabath bringing you Utica Unicorns and Westside Woolly Mammoths. The 0-1. Forkball missing inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gooden last night. 1 for 5. That one was a leadoff double that sparked just a 5-run inning for the Unicorns that included 7 hits and 10 batters going to the plate. Gooden batted twice in last night's first inning.
Well, he's putting himself in a good spot, up 2-1 in this count. Looking for something to drive early.
2-1. Doesn't drop in with the forkball high. 3 balls and 1 strike.
That high strike zone's always a weird one. Depending on the umpire, that seems like where you get the most volatility between umpires and what people think should be the top of the strike zone.
And that tailing fastball missing for Garrett Martin, so a pretty easy at-bat for Lucas Gooden as he reaches on just 5 pitches. Martin, about average, just below league average in walks. Averages 4 per 9 to go along with 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. And for a starter who takes the bulk of the innings, the most innings so far for the Mammoths, those are good numbers. Maybe walks could be a little bit lower, but for Garrett Martin, the good thing about the walks, he hasn't had too many starts where when he lets the command get a little awry and the walks come around more, he doesn't give up too many hits to go along with it either.
And again, a sign of a good pitcher, can you help get yourself out of trouble? You can find a ground ball here because, again, we talked about the middle of both lineups. You don't want to put guys on base. The Unicorns smell blood in the water from what they did last night, hoping to repeat it.
Diaz pops it up, shallow left. Hacklin is under it.
That's a nice pitch to get the first out. Pretty routine. Had Diaz underneath of it and out in front. It's a nice bounce back after a relatively easy walk to Gooden.
That'll bring up Pastor. Diaz, the newcomer from West Palm Beach, Florida. This is his first public game. He's got 2 under his belt for the Unicorns so far. No balls and no strikes to Pastor, and he looks at a fastball outside. 88 miles an hour on that fastball. Pretty typical for Garrett Martin. Not going to overpower you with the heater. It's usually going to be located well, though. That one gets a swing and a miss.
Pastor, unlike a lot of his colleagues in the USPBL, he's had a heck of a year at the plate, hitting well over 300, a couple of bombs. He has worked some walks as well. He's done a really nice job at the plate.
836 OPS this year for Pastor, and a guy who, when you talk to Nick Caruso, who sometimes is in charge, oftentimes I should say, in charge of the Unicorns lineup, he wants Pastor in center field and batting in the first 3 of the lineup every single day for this Unicorns squad. Pastor doesn't go on the check swing. 3 balls and 1 strike, 1 on and 1 out. Gooden over at first. Gooden goes on the pitch, and it's ball 4.
That's another pretty quick walk with, I mean, maybe one of those pitches were borderline, but some of those misses by Martin were pretty far off the plate and easy takes for Pastor.
It's not a competitive first 3 at-bats for Garrett Martin right now, as Gooden and Pastor both walked on 5 pitches. Brings up Felix Aberrett, dangerous hitter with 2 on and only 1 down. If you missed it last night, Aberrett back in the league after being named the championship MVP last season for the Beavers in that championship game when he hit 3 home runs and 5 at-bats. 1-0. Fastball misses that low and outside corner. 2 balls, no strikes. Aberrett with the Beavers last year, 34 games, hit almost 300. Couple home runs. 2-0. Check swing. Caught the zone anyways. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Nice pitch from Martin. Can't fall too far behind another batter. The ball-to-strike ratio is way out of whack. And that's one thing Taylor Jelenkowski wants to have under control is strike throwing.
Bounce to third. It goes to short anyways. That's a nice play by Hussein over there. It looked like Garbasic had it for a second, and then Hussein was able to pick it up. They only get 1, though, as both runners advance.
Heads-up play by Hussein. A greedier shortstop might have tried to turn 2 in that situation. Recognized 1 away, get the out at first, puts 2 away, and it takes a base hit now from Josh Baker to score an early run.
Baker looks at a strike. The 0-1. Curveball. Blocked by Beetle. Nobody advances. That was something that led to a couple runs for the Unicorns last night. There were, I want to say 6 or 7. I don't remember the official number. Wild pitches or passed balls for the Beavers last night that led to advancement and a couple runs for the Unicorns. That all came in the 2nd inning, where they had 3 runs reach the plate without getting a hit.
Yeah, and then they settled down. There really weren't any the rest of the night. One thing it's hard to see right now from that angle, but they're throwing from the light into the shadows. That's going to make Baker's life a lot harder.
2-2. This is the typical shadow early for a 7 o'clock game. We'll be with the shadows for about 4 or 5 innings before the mound and home plate are both encompassed in shadows. Swing and a miss. Baker down on strikes. It's dropped by Beetle, so he'll throw to first. Liam steps on the bag, and Garrett Martin is safely out of the inning. Not for a close effort from the Unicorns as they put 2 on, but 2 are stranded. Now we'll give it to Carol Wolfbauer with our sweetheart of the game.
But what a beautiful night for baseball, which makes it a beautiful night for our beautiful sweetheart of the game. Now, for those of you who are usuals here at Jimmy John's Field, JJR Field General, sponsored by Michigan First Credit Union, gets up at the absolute crack of dawn and goes to Thrifty Florist to pick out a beautiful bouquet of flowers for our sweetheart of the game. And today, he found Marsha, and I think Marsha's husband, Tim, is a little jealous. He's been cuddling up with Marsha. He loves her over here, so she was the perfect sweetheart of the game. So Marsha, give a big wave to the crowd so they can see you a little bit. There she is. Congratulations, Marsha, and make sure to give JJ a big old pat on the head when you see him, guys. All right, I'll send it back up to Johnny now.
Thanks, Kara. And you're right, JJ was up at the crack of dawn.
Now Tristan Harvin on the mound for the Utica Unicorns. His 8th start of the year, 30 innings, a 2.4 ERA, walks low, strikeouts high. Opponents hitting just .254 against the right-hander from Dothan, Alabama.
And he is going to have a tough task with this lineup. Again, the numbers don't back it up, but Brendan, we see these guys, we talk to other guys around the league. We know this is a dangerous lineup, despite what some of the numbers saying. There's some new life injected. You can't miss middle, basically 2 through 6 or 7. Otherwise, you're going to be asking for a new baseball.
We'll take a look at the defense behind Harvin, brought to you by Three-Dimensional Services, as always. Out on left field, Angel Diaz. Nick Pastor, we talked about him last half inning. He's in center field. James Moses in right. Gooden and Bisharat on the corners. Baggett and Curiel up the middle. Aberrett behind home plate. That's the 9 in the field for the Unicorns. They'll face Hussein, Dixon, and Castillo. 1, 2, and 3 hitters for the Mammoths. A little bit of a different look with Marcos Castillo in the lineup now for this Mammoth team. I think the interesting thing about Taylor Jellikowski and his team is that it feels like ever since the start of the year, you look at every roster, and on paper, the Mammoths were the best with what their guys did in college, what they do at the professional level, how they'll gel together, how the lineup 1 through 9 flows. And he has lost a ton of guys, more than anybody in the league. Jellikowski has lost players on his roster, as that's fouled by Hussein. 2 strikes now. And still, they bring in new guys, and they still look like the best lineup on paper.
Right. I mean, for a while, Francis Florentino was the guy that took the league by storm. Heck, Kyle Bischoff made, what, 2 starts before he got the call to the Minnesota Twins. Duncan Hewitt is in the FCL as well with the Twins organization. And, yeah, it feels like they don't just restock. They reload, and they get guys that you go, where was this guy hiding in the world of baseball?
1 ball and 2 strikes on Hussein. Chevy Pavilion's busy, waiting for a long ball. Checked his swing, and he went around. Half cut on strike 3, and Harvin starts things off with a K.
That's a nice pitch. Hussein wasn't sure what was coming. He was maybe in his own head a little bit. That's usually what happens when you get those check swings. You're thinking something and pitcher delivers something different.
Center fielder Burl Dixon in his bright pink shoes tonight, batting from the left side. He looks at ball 1. How about those things?
Definitely stand out.
Got to ask him where he got those. We've seen Joe Burke with some bright shoes this year. Hard on the ground to second, scooped up by Curiel, and the throw to first. But never anybody with the pink yet. Dixon's got him. Now here comes Marcos Castillo. Dixon, the lefty, one of just 2 in the lineup tonight for the Mammoths. That's good news for Tristan Harvin, as he prefers to face right-handed hitters. Lefty hitting nearly .350 against him this year. Castillo, the old-fashioned no batting gloves. 34 games with the Beavers last year. .830 OPS. Takes a fastball for strike 1. Castillo hit 3 home runs, had 21 RBIs in his 34 games with the Beavers.
Harvin well on his way to a very quiet start of the game. Not unlike his counterpart from, or I should say his colleague from a night ago, Carsey Walker. Feels eerily similar, just he's had to throw a few more pitches than Carsey had.
Yeah, Harvin's going to throw more than 6 pitches at least in this first inning. Carsey Walker got out of it like it was nothing to start the game last night.
16 or 17 through 2 innings?
Through 2, it was crazy. 2-1. Got him on the outside, 2-2.
Just grabbed that low outside corner. That's about as perfect of a pitch as you can make on 2-1.
The 2-2 Right in the middle of the zone. Castillo takes it all the way. It froze him with the tailing fastball, 88 miles an hour. Tristan Harvin gets a couple of Ks, and we stay deadlocked at 0 after 1. We'll head to the second.
With a transforming world, we can see how drastically the world is heading towards automation. And so, we need 24/7 surveillance and security systems for our homes and businesses to avoid any theft or breach of privacy. JARBCOM brings the installation of security cameras to the tip of your fingers with our state-of-the-art mobile app. JARBCOM also provides surveillance monitoring of your entire property with flexible options that offer a dependable solution to be scaled to fit any domestic or commercial need. Contact JARBCOM today for a free estimate at 800-369-0374 or look us up on the web at jarbcom.com.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Fifth Third Extra.
Second inning of work for Garrett Martin, a little out of control in the first inning. A pair of walks. Did end it with a strikeout to Josh Baker with runners threatening at second and third. Was able to get out of it, so he'll face Bisharat, Baggett, and Moses in the second.
And I want to see more first pitch strikes working from advantage in the count. There were too many 2-1, 3-0 counts in that first inning. Not only is that going just to make life harder facing good hitters, it's going to run up the pitch count, and it's going to shorten your day a little more than you would like if you're Garrett Martin.
22 pitches to get through that first inning. He could use a short one here. Curveball finds the inside edge as Bisharat takes strike one.
That was a slow looping curveball, had at 70 miles an hour. That can make a fastball that might not have amazing velocity on its own, make it look a lot quicker.
High in the air to right, Castillo calls off the second baseman Williams Nelson and makes the grab on the flyout.
That's exactly what Martin needed. 2 pitches and a lazy flyout. Good start against a good hitter, Bisharat, who he feels like at least he's starting to see the ball a little better.
Brings up Patrick Baggett, switch hitter batting left. Changeup misses high.
Wonder if there's something with the grip that Martin likes. That's 3 straight off speeds to start off the second inning. Into the middle bottom part of the order, too.
And he was struggling to locate the fastball. That one in the strike zone fouled off by Baggett. It was kind of tailing on him, it seemed like, a little bit in that first inning. Really missed it on the outside edge of the plate to a lot of hitters.
Sometimes just on a given day, sometimes one of the grips just feels better, feels more natural in the hand for whatever reason, and you feel more comfortable locating it.
On the ground, foul. 2-2 on Baggett. He's primarily just been a left-handed bat this season, being the switch hitter, facing almost entirely righties. Swing and a miss. Got him on strikes. Second strikeout for Martin. 2 down in the inning.
And using the soft stuff to get the out. Interesting to see if this is just what he's feeling confident with, or if he wants to use that and maybe the second time through the lineup we start to see the fastball a little more. Who knows? But whatever he's doing here in the second inning, whatever his approach is, keep at it because he's gotten the first 2 outs relatively quickly.
Now comes in with the heater and misses. And that's what we see most pitchers do. Figure out a way to get a lineup out one time through, and then you have the best pitchers have different ways to get different hitters out another time through. If you go back to the well, you're going to get beat very often.
Well, the advanced analytics usually always say, you get into the nerdy stuff, that third time through the order is usually when the batting average for a lineup just soars.
Foul fly, and that will get out of play. Unable to have any room was Garbasic. And I feel like most pitchers use the fastball the first time through, so maybe you're right. Maybe this is kind of Martin's long-winded way of pitching backwards and getting hitters out with the off-speed. But the command was just not there in the first inning, which might have something to do with it. Picked on a hop by Williams Nelson. He'll throw to first. Easy 3 up and 3 down. We said Garrett Martin needed a quick second inning, and he got it. Just a couple pitches, just 3 batters, and it's still 0-0 here in the U.S. PBL Network.
Fifth Third Extra Time helps you do you better. So kick back and relax. You have extra time to avoid overdraft fees. Fifth Third Extra Time. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Very good Friday night to be out at the ballpark. Fireworks coming later tonight, and that always means a good crowd. The grandstands, the pavilion, the lawn, as it's Living Organ Donor Night.
Now, I like a lot of our pitchers in the league. I like talking to them, and they've had a lot of success. But let's get some fireworks on the ball field before the end of the game. It's been a while since we've seen a couple of long flies, and maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just being selfish, but let's see one go into the hill. Let's see one go into the Chevy Pavilion.
Announcers are people too.
Yes,
and it's more fun for us.
Yes,
when
it
there's
is.
home runs. So. And
I'm usually a pitcher's guy too. I love a good pitcher's duel. I'm one that most of the time loves a 2-to-1 game, but a guy like Fox Liam has the ability to go deep. I mean, geez, see a swing
he tried
like
to on that swing.
I think he might have hurt us because he that was not trying to slap it the other way.
No, absolutely not. Harvin got it by him though, 1-1. And this one's on the ground to first. Nice stop by Bisharat down to an E. Harvin will cover the bag for the first out. 3-1 goes the put out, and Liam is sent down. But, sorry, Garrett. Sorry, Tristan. But we want to see home runs.
Yes.
We've been asking for it all year long.
Right, and there just hasn't been a lot. By the way, that was smooth by Bisharat.
Oh, yeah.
Going down to a leg all in one motion, popping back up. That was pretty smooth over at first base for Bisharat.
Bisharat is really coming along after getting off the injured list. He had the lower back issue, missed a couple games, now worked his way back to some good swings and some good defense. He's a guy who, projects very well in this league. Big first baseman, can hit for power and average. You look at some of his batting practice swings, and you just think, man, how does he not do that every single time? And it seems like it's only a matter of time before it comes around. You just have to be patient in baseball.
Absolutely. And he told us yesterday that he feels like he's starting to get back into the swing of things.
Livingston Morris, another guy without a home run yet that we know is going to have some at some point.
There were some offensive linemen I played against in college that weren't as big as Livingston Morris. And I mean that genuinely. I believe he's listed at, 6'6", 255?
Popped up. This might get foul. It's playable for Bisharat no matter what. Just a foot beyond the foul line for the second out. Did you get by any of those?
Not as many as I would have liked to. That's why I'm here and not playing somewhere.
But yes, Morris is 6'4", 245, according to USPBL.com. Hacklin pounds it foul right in front of him in his first at-bat. Ward Hacklin, .314 average this season, tied for the team lead in RBIs with 9. And to think about where he was when he started the year, a very impressive season he has put together.
Yeah, he struggled a bit, and he was challenged by Taylor Jelenkowski. They moved him up in the lineup, said want to get him, hey, at least one fastball, want to get him a chance to attack, and he responded in kind. Usually those stories don't end that way. Usually when you hear, hey, I'm challenging this guy, it basically means this is his last opportunity, and Ward Hacklin has done a really nice job responding and making Taylor Jelenkowski look like a pretty darn good manager.
Yeah, he's only responded with a 900 OPS in 20 games. Pretty good stuff. And got him strike 3. Harvin missed on the edge on the 0-2, went back to the well on the 1-2, and it results in his 3rd strikeout of the night. It's only been 6 batters to come to the plate for the Mammoths, and Harvin has sent them all down. We'll head to the 3rd here on the US PBL Network.
Yo, we gotta clean this place up, bro. So we gotta clean this place up. It's a mess. Coach, the house is a mess.
Hey, you're gonna have to call somebody to get that house clean, because I need you guys down here now.
Who can we call?
Well, the company that does all the suites and company offices is Dawn to Dust Cleaning Service.
What's their number?
586-932-4090.
Give them a call.
Hello, Dawn to Dust Cleaning. How can I help you?
Hi, how soon could you guys come clean our house?
You know, we actually have availability today.
Are they here already? That can't be them.
Hi, Donna Does Cleaning. We're here to clean, so you don't have to.
You guys got here quick. Come on in. This looks unbelievable. Wow, crystal clean. Definitely worth 5 stars. What do we think? Oh yeah, this is amazing. 5 stars for sure.
We talked about it last half inning, Living Organ Donor Night, and this is the largest collection in the world of pairs of living organ donors together in person. And we are watching right in front of us here at Jimmy John's Field. Very cool stuff and a very special night for a lot of these young people.
Yeah, it's, well, there's not a lot of words for something like this. I mean, behind the scenes, none of these people really get any recognition, but they should, because it is a very selfless thing to do, to literally donate a part of you.
We're literally looking at lifesavers
right
in real life in front of us. You know, it's not these are not burger flippers. These are people who have taken the time and put their lives on the line to help other people, and that's a very special thing.
See a few of the Mammoth players giving the tip of the cap, as they deserve. I like the one guy's shirt, Kidney Buddies.
That's got to be pretty special to be kidney buddies with someone for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's well, that's about as special of a bond as you can get.
I don't know that it gets much closer than that.
Literally and figuratively.
It's like that Seinfeld episode where Kramer donates blood to Jerry.
Yes.
But
I didn't think we were going to get a Seinfeld reference.
I will sneak a Seinfeld reference in any chance I can.
I appreciate that.
Do you think it works that way in real life? You donate a kidney to someone, they owe you favors for...
Maybe. I don't know. I guess it depends what the arrangement was beforehand.
Right.
I'm sure a lot of them are just very happy to... So I don't know all these stories, but I know some of them, I'm sure, are family members or people close, and then some just willing donors. Could be strangers. Everyone's story is a little bit different.
Some people are just nice people out of the kindness of their heart, and that's always a cool thing. 0-0 here between the Mammoths and the Unicorns. We're into the top of the 3rd inning. The bottom of the order due up for the Unicorns, only Curiel, and then it'll flip over to Gooden and Diaz. No hits yet for either side. We were asking for offense. I think we were getting too greedy. We got to ask for a double before we ask for a home run.
I don't think we're getting very greedy at all. I think, again, the pitchers have been spectacular, and that's, I guess, the way to spin this is every team seems like they have 2 or 3 guys that you give them the ball, and you know it's going to be tough to put some runs across. And every team has tried to fill out the back end to get that complete staff, but it seems like when you get guys like Martin or Harvin on the mound, yeah, when you get an opportunity to score, you got to take care of it. That's why I want to see what the Unicorns do the rest of this game because, yeah, they put up 8 runs yesterday, but again, we talked about it. They were in the first 2 innings. So now they've gone a full game's worth of innings scoreless. See how they do as they go the second time through the order against Garrett Martin. Does he pitch him backwards? Does he rely on the fastball? Or does he use that slow breaking curveball?
He starts with a fastball in on the hands to Donovan Curiel. Curiel last night, 1 for 3 plus a walk on the season, 237 average. Started pretty rough for Curiel, and he has slowly crept that average back up, added a lot of value to his bat in the 9 spot, which is primarily where he's been all season long for the Unicorns.
He's done a fairly decent job out of there, just a tick below 240. Decent table setter for the top of the lineup.
He's fantastic in the field as well, the middle infield. Usually at shortstop. Today he's at second base. Nick Caruso experimenting with the lineup a little bit. Sometimes with the offense lacking, you know, last night notwithstanding, you got to change things up a little bit, whether that's in the field or in the lineup. Curiel out to left, and there's the first base hit of the game. Kind of a check swing. Might have changed his mind just defending with 2 strikes, but he puts it into left for a base hit.
Well, he barreled it up. He was confused, but he ended up putting the bat where it needed to be. But that breaking ball for Martin, there's a reason why it had Curiel confused. That had 15 inches of break. That's a whole heck of a lot of movement for a breaking ball.
It seems like both his curveball and his forkball are those types of pitches that can do that.
And when that curveball sitting 69 miles an hour, you get an 85-mile-per-hour fastball. It seems a lot faster than 85. That's one way to manipulate the batter to make it seem quicker than it is.
Gooden out to left as well. Hacklin to his right a few steps, still going back, jumps up, it's off the top of the wall. Curiel advances to second. He will stop there. That ball just kept carrying, softly sounding off of Gooden's bat. So runners at first and second now. Nobody out.
And that's a really nice swing from Lucas Gooden. He should have had an extra base hit for the second straight day, but this is where the defense and the outfield for the Mammoths comes into play. I don't know how many left fielders in the league hold Curiel to second on that because that hits off the wall. The respect they give to Ward Hacklin, thinking it's possible he makes that play, keeps that to a single off the fence. If Curiel goes off the crack of the bat and doesn't have that respect for Hacklin, he might score off that play.
Absolutely. He's got enough speed to score from first on a well-placed hit. Angel Diaz now batting for the second time. Fastball misses. 2-1. Angel, we mentioned, out of West Palm Beach, Florida, played his college days 3 seasons at Weber International. 2-1 curveball, no. And if that sounds familiar, that's because Diamond Hopper's second baseman Luis Acevedo was his teammate there at Weber International. That's how Angel was made aware of the USPBL here in Utica.
I mentioned it last night how small of a world baseball can be nowadays.
Angel puts a fly ball into left. This one is safely playable for Hacklin.
you'll see a big pipeline. I mean, the biggest one here is Georgia Gwinnett. There's 4 or 5 guys this year that have played here that have from Georgia Gwinnett.
I'd say Georgia Gwinnett and the GLIAC conference in general.
Well, that one makes a little more sense because the GLIAC, for those who don't know, the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, it's mostly Michigan, used to have some Ohio teams. So that one just makes sense. You're playing close to home. But you get Weber International and Georgia Gwinnett. Those are states away. Those are regions away. It's not just coming in from your backyard where, it makes sense when you get we have a few Wayne State, for those that don't know. In Metro Detroit, it's about a 25-minute drive from here. That makes sense.
Right.
Georgia Gwinnett, that's a little bit more unique.
Weber International down in Florida, down south. Pastor waiting on a ball and a strike. Hard hit into right. This will drop in front of Castillo for a base hit. Caruso's going to hold Curiel. He almost ran through the stop sign. Now has to get back to the bag at third and does. They'll play station to station with one out. Castillo's got a plus arm in right field, and he got a good throw in. I think that would have gotten Curiel to plate. Good call by Caruso.
It was indeed. Pastor just hit it too hard.
Yep.
If he doesn't barrel it up, if the exit velo is not as high as it was, then Castillo doesn't have a chance to throw him out. But a great throw to the plate. Now, for Martin, that pitch was right in the happy zone. That was a middle pitch. Yeah, he's lucky Pastor hit it on the ground and didn't elevate it. So he's still got a chance to get out of the third with the scoreless game still intact.
Felix Abarrette digging in with the bases loaded. The Unicorns this year best in the league with the bases loaded, which realistically is not saying much. They're hitting .231, 3 for 13 in bases loaded situations this year. Rest of the league below the Mendoza line in bases loaded spots. 2-0. Out into left, Hacklin charging. This will drop in front of him. He has no play. Curiel scores. Everybody moves up 90 feet. And the Unicorns are on the board first thanks to Felix Abarrette in an RBI single.
Old school way to push across a run. 4 singles in 5 at-bats. Some harder hit than others. But Abarrette gets the job done with only 1 away. Now trying for the big inning with a big power bat in Josh Baker.
Still only 1 down. Curiel gets greeted at the dugout. Baker, 3 home runs on the year, leads the Unicorns, 10 RBIs as well. Leads them in that stat. Takes high with the fastball, 2-0.
Nowhere to put Baker. Have to come to him, and now you're down 2-0. You throw him a fastball that he's going to sit dead red on, or you try to get it with the curveball.
It's hard hit into left field. This one going back. Hacklin looking up. That ball is gone. Josh Baker with a grand slam, his 4th of the year, and the Unicorns busted open in the 3rd.
Wasn't that terrible of a pitch. That was low and away, but Baker strong enough to go with it the other way. Absolutely crushed it to the opposite field, and, well, there's our home run. Grand slam.
And, coming from Josh Baker, what a story this guy is. Quit baseball back in college. He played 2 seasons at Middle Tennessee State back in 2020 and 2021. In that 2021 season, the first year after COVID, Josh had just 6 at-bats with Middle Tennessee State. Just wasn't getting the play that he wanted. He was really down on himself in the game of baseball. And so he moved back home to Clarksburg, West Virginia, and was done playing. He had had enough, was working at a batting cage, still enjoyed the game, was having, some fun there and messing around, taking some swings, and, saw some people that said, hey, you should maybe try to pick this back up. Bisharat on the ground to third, almost ate up Garbasic, but he makes a nice pick to get the out. Put out goes 5-3, so Baker stuck with it, started training in West Virginia. Got a call from Jim Essien and the USPBL, and now here he is, now tied for the league lead with 4 home runs this year.
And that's a big one. The Unicorns, we were asking for more offense. They delivered more offense. And baseball is one of those games where if you're not enjoying it, the games can feel like they take forever. It's one of those sports, when you're having fun, it's great, you're at the ballpark, but if you're sitting in the dugout, you're miserable, you're not having fun, that game can drag on, that season can drag on. You put in so much work for limited opportunities, and if you're getting virtually none, then that really changes it up.
Off the glove of Martin, Williams-Nelson fell down, can't get the throw to first in time. Almost a terrific play. Baggett gets rewarded for a hard hit liner up the middle. Good reflexes by Martin to deflect it, but they have no play at first. The inning continues.
Looked like he just caught his heel on where the grass meets the dirt, just couldn't get it off in time. A heck of a reaction though by Garrett Martin just to get a glove on it. I talked about the second time through the order for the Unicorns. Well, they're seeing the ball well off of Martin.
Fly ball to center. Dixon is there. Josh Baker around the bases with 3 on. A grand slam to left field after a run had already come across. They get 6 hits in the third on 5 runs. And it's now a 5-0 lead for the Unicorns as it's time for our Michigan First Credit Union water boy, JJ, out into shallow right field.
Best part of the day is when you come up and see him.
9 batters go to the plate in the inning for the Unicorns. Now with a 5-run lead, Tristan Harvin is going to take the mound. But first, Kara Wolfbauer has the DTE Kid Race the mascot.
Thanks, Johnny. It is time for our DTE Kid Race the mascot. Now, for those of you who are regulars here at Jimmy John's Field, know this is a tradition that we have here. It's usually 1 kid, but today it's extra special. We're doing 3 kids. We've got Easton, we've got Scarlett, and we have Sophia. And these 3 are going to try and beat Lancelot today. And Lancelot's going to try and get out of that slump he's been in. So we got him over at second base, give him a bit of a head start. Are you guys ready? Yes?
Yeah.
All right, they're ready. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go, take off, follow your brother, and they're headed off. Scarlett and Sophia would not run unless they could hold hands because they're absolute best friends. And honestly, I think it's vital, so. All right, here we go, they're passing Lancelot now. They are heading home. All right, guys, they need your help to get home, let me hear ya. There we go. All right, Easton is coming in first. Here we go, man. Sophia, Scarlett, fantastic job tonight, guys. Lancelot was a little bit closer than last time, but we'll see. All right, we're gonna head this way, guys, and we'll.
Did you see, I think it was Sophie or Sophia, you pointed it out that she was holding hands with Scarlett in the Kid Race the mascot at first. They got halfway to second, and she left her in the dust. She let go and said, I got to beat Lancelot.
Hey, got to do what you got to do. Dog eat dog world out there.
They both
unicorn eat unicorn world.
They both end up winning the race against Lancelot. No surprise there. 5-0. Unicorns lead the Mammoths for Tristan Harvin in the bottom of the third. It's only been 6 batters for the Mammoths, a team that we thought could maybe bring some offense tonight. They haven't done it so far. Harvin's been cooking. 3 strikeouts, 3 groundouts. Excuse me, 3 strikeouts, 2 groundouts, and a pop-out. All soft stuff for Harvin, who's been working well with that fastball and splitter.
And I'm going to bring out the same book of cliches I brought out yesterday when the Unicorns went up 5-0, is that can't hit a 5-run home run. Just got to take it 1 at-bat at a time. Defensively, you need a goose egg next inning. Just try to get 1 run across, and it starts here with Dre Williams-Nelson.
Dravion Williams-Nelson, a former minor leaguer with the Los Angeles Angels in his first public professional at-bat with the USPBL. was originally drafted out of high school, so he's just 23 years old despite having 3 years of minor league experience already.
Say he's well traveled. When we got to talk to him before the game, it was fun hearing some of the old stories he had about some of the towns he'd go to when he was in advanced rookie, when they had it, and low A ball, and how it compared, and just how different the range that it can be and the experience can be.
Yeah, he was in minor league ball before MLB went away from some of their affiliate leagues, and he just pushes a ground ball single into right, the first base hit of the game for the Mammoths. Their leadoff man is on with a chance to maybe respond to that 5 spot they gave up in the top half of the inning.
Just kind of inside outed into right field. Wasn't the prettiest hit, but still hit it hard enough in the right spot. Williams Nelson's come in and he's hit the ground running.
I thought it was interesting talking to him about how he was at his high school graduation in Houston, Texas, where he's from, and he was watching the MLB draft on his phone during his graduation because he said, I graduated, I'm done, I don't care.
Right.
And so he was.
I feel him on that.
He was weighing his options. He didn't want to go D1 because if you go D1, you have to wait 3 years before entering the MLB draft. So he was ready to go to a junior college in Texas. He was originally committed to Houston, University of Houston, and then actually was going to go to a junior college in Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois Central.
Yeah, and
Peoria.
A couple days after his high school graduation, got the call from the Angels that he had been selected, and it was funny. That's a really pretty sobering moment for a young baseball player. He said he was expecting to have a full summer off.
Right, your last summer before you have to move on to the next chapter.
And they went, no, we need you here in 2 weeks. Get your stuff. And he's like, but I'm in high school. And they're like, well, we got you. We'll figure it out. So get here, get your stuff, and you'll be good. He's going on the pitch, throw down, and there won't be a throw because Aberrett bobbled it. 2 balls and 1 strike and a stolen base for Williams Nelson.
Yeah, that's the one unique part about the MLB draft. Obviously, the NHL, NBA, and NFL, they're all in the offseason. So they have time to acclimate. They'll have rookie camps and kind of dip your toe in the water. Where you're a prep player, you get drafted, like you said, you have your grad party, and then it's, all right, come on down. You're going to be playing against some 22, 23-year-olds. You're going to be playing against grown men, and now you're a professional ball player. I know you just finished up taking economics and algebra, but now you're playing for a spot in the big leagues.
2-2. Swing and a miss for Beadle. He's down on strikes. 4th K for Tristan Harvin. Beadle had extra words for the umpire after that one. Not sure if he didn't like the call earlier in the at-bat.
Well, that's only the first swinging strikeout from Harvin. He's got a lot of guys fooled so far today.
First out in the inning. Brings up Alex Garbasic with a runner in scoring position. I really like that aggressiveness from Williams Nelson to get in scoring position. We mentioned just try to put something on the board after giving up 5. If you can respond with a run here, that's a very positive thing for the Mammoths.
Yeah, and kind of be the team spark plug. Hey, still trying to find your role, show what you can do, get a base hit, move up in the scoring position now, trusting the bottom to the top of the order. Just get a base hit. He's shown he's got the speed. Put it in the outfield, and you can score from second.
Out into center, going back is Pastor. That's going to get all the way to the gap. Coming around to score is Williams Nelson. Garbasic heads into second with some speed. He's rounding the bag. He's going to go for third. Baggett slipped on the cutoff throw on the wet outfield from the rain earlier in the day. That's a triple and a run scoring for Alex Garbasic. The Mammoths respond with a run of their own.
That's something we don't see too often. It's hard to get a triple here at Jimmy John's Field, but Baggett slipping or not, I think Garbasic might have been there anyway. The big thing, though, you score the run, you answer back the 5 spot from the top of the inning, but he smoked that, and it's been the opposite way here in the 3rd inning. Josh Baker's home run went the opposite way, and there Garbasic hit a ball that just kept carrying. Much like Williams Nelson, was thinking, all right, Pastor's going to get there, or he's got a chance to. He had no chance to get to that.
Yeah, that just had him burned right off the bat. Kind of a deceiving fly ball. Now the top of the order, Hussein digs in, struck out his first time. He's facing a 1-0 count. Harvin delivers a fastball that's on the ground to short, charging, bag it on the backhand, bobbles on the transfer, and won't have a play. The run scores, and Hussein is safe at first.
It's a tough play. First, I was thinking Hussein just did a job, hit a ground ball, score a run, but hit it in the perfect spot, beat it out. Baggett didn't even bother with the throw.
So that's an RBI infield single for Jordan Hussein. Now it's Burl Dixon's turn to maybe get in on the fun. 3 hits in the inning so far, 2 runs already, only 1 down.
And Dixon's a guy that, well, you just look at all the numbers, could put it out.
Fly ball, right center field. Pastor going back off the end of the bat a little bit as it dies in the gap, and he makes the grab.
See, off the bat, from where we were, I thought Dixon's was going farther than Garbasix did.
I thought he put it in the lake.
Yeah, I thought it was going to hit the bandstand out there, but win, I guess, slightly against Dixon, but you know he's got the potential to do it. Just missed it.
Another guy with some pop in his bat. Castillo hit 3 home runs last season in a Beavers uniform. Harvin steps off 2 seconds on the pitch clock, so he was out of time. Avoids a ball and takes a disengagement.
See if Hussein uses that to his advantage at all over at first.
Check swing, it's a strike. Hussein takes a big secondary lead over there at first base. Does not have one of those oven mitts that's such a signature piece of a base stealing threat nowadays. And he gets worked back to the bag. Harvin's clearly concerned.
Now that's the second disengagement. If he throws over again, they have to get Hussein out. Otherwise it constitutes a balk. Let's see how much Hussein pushes it. You can see already a bigger secondary.
Yep, bigger primary lead now. And he does go. It's on the ground, foul, and have to feel like Castillo should have let that one go.
Yeah, as a hitter, I know you're in the 3 spot. You're a good batter, but you have a little more situational awareness. And I can't fault Castillo too much. That's a situation that literally up until this year he's never had to worry about.
Right, exactly. And the however 22 years that he's been playing baseball hasn't had to worry about.
Right.
The 0-2 swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Tristan Harvin. Couple of runs come across. The Mammoths respond well to the 5 spot. They get 2 of their own back. Harvin does finally get out of it in the 3rd. That's his 5th strikeout already. We'll head to the 4th.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challenges of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects. Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast. And so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. That's why your business needs a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions. Tryon provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
Cynthia, are you ready?
I'm ready. I hope my eyes are.
All right, so we are going to bring out Lindsay Dryden coming right over here. Lindsay is your kidney donor, Cynthia. This is Lindsay right here in the white shirt. And Lindsay's also a nurse at Henry Ford Wyandotte. And now she gets to meet her kidney recipient today.
What a special moment here at Jimmy John's Field as Cynthia in the white hat on the left is meeting Lindsay, who saved her life with a kidney donation. Pretty very cool stuff.
How does it feel to now see that you personally give back to Cynthia as well?
Feels amazing, and it's really nice to meet her.
And how do you feel, Cynthia, now that you finally met Lindsay, the person that saved your life at the end of the day?
It's very special, and I feel she is an angel in disguise. Didn't realize she was a nurse, who are also angels, but she's a double special angel.
Yes, so Lindsay's been a hero at the hospital and now today with Cynthia. We'll take one more last picture. And now we've made lifelong friends. All right, thanks guys so much. Give them one big round of applause. Thank you guys so much.
Very awesome stuff at Jimmy John's Field as Cynthia got to meet her organ donor. Pretty cool night it's already been, honoring the living organ donors in our community. Had the largest gathering of living organ donor pairs earlier in the second inning. We're now into the fourth. Garrett Martin is trying to steady himself after a 5-run third inning. It included 6 hits and the big fly from Josh Baker, a grand slam. Made it 5-0. The Mammoths responded with 2 of their own in the home half of the third.
Mentioned it a bit in the pregame that with the Mammoths having the doubleheader tomorrow against the Diamond Hoppers, the 2 6-inning doubleheaders, gonna have to get a little length out of Garrett Martin. Saw last night that the Beavers and John Dombrowski, they only had the 1 game. They went to the bullpen really quickly. They didn't have 12 more innings of baseball to play after today. Maybe you see Martin get pulled a little earlier, but Taylor Jelenkowski's really relying on one of his top-end guys to get him through the 4th, maybe even the 5th.
And you see it, Martin up to 61 pitches already. Tomorrow, it's these Mammoths against the Hoppers. Beavers only get the 1 game. Well, they technically had 2 because they played the morning non-public yesterday, and then the game we saw last night here in the USPBL network against the Unicorns. There is no Sunday game this weekend. Pretty rare Sunday off. Curiel, 2 balls and 1 strike. He started the 5-run third inning last time. Singled and scored after punching a ball into left field.
A little bit of deja vu, same spot as last inning, hoping for the same result.
Fights that one off foul, 3 balls and 2 strikes. We talked about last inning the strike throwing for Garrett Martin. The only counts other than this one that he's thrown 2 strikes in are the 2 strikeouts he has to Baker and Baggett earlier in this game. Curiel pops it behind first base. It'll be the second baseman Williams Nelson making the grab. So pop out the second baseman for the first out. Now it's Gooden. Angel Diaz behind him with 1 down.
You could hear Williams Nelson calling it from up here in the booth. That's the one interesting part about when you get in the lower levels of baseball, especially independent. Now, there's usually a core of the team that'll be here from start to finish, but there's a lot of moving parts, and so much of baseball can be that chemistry, especially in the field. I mean, that ball looked like it might have dropped in no man's land. Pitchers and catchers need to have a rapport. It's always interesting to see how guys deal with it when they're getting, whether it's a new catcher or a new defensive player next to them throughout the season.
Checking in on the YouTube and Facebook comments, keeping it 100 on the Bayou says go Jordan, likely rooting for Jordan Hussein of the Mammoths, says Lucas Gooden pops it foul, and it's not going to be caught by the catcher Beadle. It hit his glove, but he just had to back up a little bit too much. Gooden gets another opportunity. Kyle Bischoff says roll Mamos, former pitcher for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, now in rookie ball with the Minnesota Twins, one of the 50 USPBL players that has been signed out of the league to an affiliate organization.
And he's not down there alone. Jake Wazinski with him, Duncan Hewitt on that team as well.
Fly ball, deep center field, playable for Dixon. Pierce Banks from the Hoppers from last year is also down there.
It's funny, the opening day matchup with Wazinski and Bischoff.
Yeah.
Those were the two, and we were really excited.
That was lights out stuff.
Yeah, and we had to savor it because we only saw Bischoff throw one more game after that.
I think those two in that opening day start, it was a doubleheader, and they both pitched the first of this 2 6-inning games. I think they both went. We saw a combined 10 innings. They each went 5. Wazinski had 9 strikeouts. Bischoff had 8, and I think there was a total of 3 walks between the two and only like 5 hits. It was really impressive stuff. Yeah. Martin can't barehand it. It goes back to Hussein at short. Diaz won't beat it out on the 6-3 ground out. Garrett Martin needed a good inning and got it. 1, 2, 3 go the Unicorns in the top of the 4th. They still hang on to a 3-run lead, but the Mammoths put up 2 in the last inning. They'll try to continue that stuff. We're looking for Carol Wolfbauer right now in between innings to find our kid of the game. I think this is actually happening later, so we'll take a break. We'll step aside. It'll be the Mammoths batting when we come back.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are operating engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
What are the odds that we're neighbors, we've known each other our whole lives, and both tear the exact same things in this exact same knee?
So an ACL tear is an injury to the main stabilizing structure of the knee.
You want a good team around you, because then you know that what you're doing is going to help you in the long run.
My message to everyone who's helped me, thank you so much, because you guys helped me progress so much.
Also hearing it from a friend that's went through the exact same thing, I think sort of helps that know that there's a bright side at the end.
Three-run lead for the Unicorns. And that dugout is a bunch of happy campers right now. Hoping to stay that way, though. The Mammoths had a slight rally in the third. 3 hits, 2 runs. It'll be Liam, Morris, and Hacklin, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters here in the 4th. Try to keep it going. We got to some of the YouTube comments before the break. Over on Facebook, Eric Calhoun says, "Hello, USPBL fans. Eric here listening from Los Angeles, California, way out on the west side."
Not even dinner time out there yet.
Up the middle, Harvin caught it. Whoa! Right place, right time. 1 pitch and 1 out. Tristan Harvin, wake me up.
Better to be lucky than good sometimes. And that's a heck of a reaction time. And poor Fox Liam, which, by the way, 80 grade name. That is, I think that is the best name in the USPBL right now. That's a baseball player's name. That was a baseball player's swing, too. Just didn't get rewarded for it.
Not often do you put L1 in the scorebook, but that's what that was. Morris, this one's back up the middle. Baggett will field it on 2 hops, a high one, throw to first, and a nice play by Bisharat there. 2 pitches and 2 outs for Tristan Harvin to respond after giving up 2 runs last inning.
Not to say we haven't even settled in for the inning, and there's 2 away.
Lori Stanley Ionelli on Facebook says, "Go Tristan." Sharon Bauman says, "Hello from Wisconsin." Ron Matheny says, "That's my grandson, Clarksburg, West Virginia." Talking about Josh Baker, who's got the grand slam already tonight for the Unicorns.
Proud grandpa.
Ward Hacklin digging in. Struck out his first time up looking to Tristan Harvin. 1 ball and no strikes. We're going to have an at-bat in this inning go over 1 pitch. Wow.
I don't think Harvin was rattled too much by the 2 runs last inning.
Doesn't look like it. Jerry Tomasic says, hello from Schererville, Indiana. What's up, Kyle Bischoff? Hey, Connor. Related to Connor Tomasic, a pitcher for the Unicorns. She's saying hello to Kyle because Connor and Kyle both went to Michigan State. Teammates there. Jennifer Jacobason says, let's go Burl. You owe your host mom a home run. He almost had one earlier in the game, a well-struck fly ball off the bat. Hacklin, excuse me, swing, and he went around on the 1-2. Tristan Harvin breezes through the 4th inning. He's up to 6 strikeouts as we head to the 5th. He's hanging on to a 5-2 lead for his Unicorns, and now Kara has the kid of the game.
Now she's tiny over here, but she's got big girl power. Ellie, give the crowd a big wave behind you. Give them a wave, turn around, you see your family? There she is, little waves here, little waves, but Ellie is a huge fan of the Unicorns, just an absolute die-hard fan. She's got on her pastel shirt, her purple shirt too, and she's ready to watch the Unicorns tonight. Now Ellie, can you give me one big go Unicorns?
Go Unicorns!
Yeah, good job, go Unicorns. Thanks, Ellie.
Ellie with a good cheer for the leading Unicorns right now. 5-2 our score. Garrett Martin settled down after giving up 5 in the 3rd. Went 1-2-3 last inning. He'll face Pastor, Aberrett, Baker in the 5th. This is usually where we see Martin's leash shrink, typically around 5 or 6 innings per start. He hasn't walked anybody since the 1st inning. Hasn't struck anyone out since the 2nd. It's been all hits or contact outs in the 3rd and 4th innings.
72 pitches in. That's about the length Taylor Jelenkowski likes to give. As the summer goes on, as the arms get more in midseason form, you'll see that extend by 5, 10 pitches, maybe every couple weeks. But yeah, I'd have to imagine this is the end of the line for Martin.
The Mammoths bullpen is not busy yet. We'll keep an eye on it in this half inning to see if anybody gets sent down there. We had no hits in this game up until the 3rd inning, and then combined between the 2 teams, we had 7 runs on 9 hits in that 3rd inning. Pastor, one of them, he had a single and scored back in the 3rd. He's 1 for 1 with a walk tonight.
The only Unicorn batter Martin has not been able to retire yet tonight.
That's pretty typical for a good hitter like Pastor. It was really interesting talking to him about his approach. He came up to the booth, was trying to get some footage of his swing from the game last night, and that was, if you remember last night, a bunch of hits early on for the Unicorns, and I know you asked him if they saw anything in particular on Galindo. Swing and a miss as he goes down via the K here. First one for Martin in 2 innings. He's got 3 total, all of them swinging. But I love talking to hitters, and good hitters as well, and hearing about their approach, their 2-strike approach. Does it change? Does it not? The interesting thing that I thought about with Pastor is his approach is very different from a lot of other hitters, and that's the beautiful thing about, I think, about the game of baseball, is that there's different methods and avenues to being successful. It's not all a straight path, and Pastor is kind of one of those guys that embodies that.
And that's why, I mean, yeah, you're right. In baseball, some guys are very analytical. They look at everything, and other guys have as simple of approach as can be. Yeah, I'm going to go up, I'm going to see the ball, and I'm going to hit the ball. Don't think about it, just do it. And I think that's why sometimes there's the thought that sometimes the best players don't make great coaches because they don't need to think about it.
Right.
Because they just walk up and hit. Now, obviously, Nick Pastor, very dedicated to his craft, coming in, watching before the game, his swings before the game.
Aberrett with a base hit into right center. Dixon cuts it off on the backhand and quickly throws it in to hold Felix at first. Good at bat there to punch a base hit. Martin was starting to get into a bit of a groove. So 1-on-1 and out for the home run hitter tonight, Josh Baker.
Still no stirring in the Mammoth bullpen. They're leaving Martin out there again. I think the doubleheader tomorrow has a lot to do with that.
High and outside with the curveball, 1-0. Mary Melton on Facebook says, way to go, Josh Baker. So proud. Jerry Tomasic says, great job calling the game as well. Thank you, Jerry. We appreciate you. Fly ball, right field. Baker crushed it. Is it fair? It is not. Oh, it sure looked fair.
Again, I'm not right down the line. I thought he hooked it inside.
Man, Baker knew it was gone. Everybody staring in awe, just watching to see if it would disappear behind that foul pole. And for Garrett Martin, all it is a long strike one.
It went over the foul pole, so it's impossible to tell. As tall as those foul poles are, sometimes they're not tall enough.
Yep, that's one of the only things I think in the world of baseball that we are, with all the technology we have in this game, we are behind on the ability to judge home run fly balls towards the foul pole. But it's at every level of baseball. 1-2 now on Baker, high 2-2. Well, for someone like Josh Baker, though, it's about the process, and hey, it's two great swings.
He's seeing the ball well.
Yeah.
That is undeniable tonight.
And he stays alive, 2-2 with the foul. We mentioned Martin, better against right-handed hitters than the lefties. You look at the lefties in the lineup tonight. Moses is 0 for 2. Baker's 1 for 2 with a grand slam. Pastor is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. And Gooden also has a double and a run scored. Now 3-2 on Baker. How about this at bat already? He's pushed Martin now up to 87 pitches. Aberrett still waiting over at first with one down. Hard hit down the line and another one hooking foul. Josh Baker just a little bit out in front of the lower end velocity pitcher.
And a really nice job working in this at bat. Sometimes after a guy hits a home run, they get really swing happy and they'll take a hack at anything. Not Baker in this AB.
3-2 inside on the hands, and that's just a weak pop-up just beyond the second base bag for Jordan Hussein.
Martin wears him down. It looked like Baker was ahead that whole at bat, but tipped the cap to Garrett Martin after we thought gave up a two-run blast. Ends up just getting a weak pop out.
Now Jacob Bisharat's turn. 0 for 2 tonight. First pitch, fly ball, left center field. That one's deep. Hacklin giving chase. He's not going to be able to get it. It's a home run for Jacob Bisharat. A two-run blast. That's his second of the year, and the Unicorns tack on a few more.
He's been seeing the ball well, Brendan. He's been having good swings in BP. He's had some nice swings that have gone unrewarded. Just had a feeling it was about time for Bisharat to really get a hold of one, and he did not miss that one at all. 362 feet from home plate with a 93 exit velocity. Yeah, he hit that one on the screws.
A first pitch swing, too. Now Baggett's turn, and Martin has to settle in after giving up his second home run of the game. Two 2-0 on Baggett. Now he follows it back 2-1. 1 for 2 today, strikeout and a single for Patrick. He He had that sharp liner off of Martin's glove his last time up back in the third. That one skips in on the fork ball, 3-1. There's the Mammoths bullpen starting to get busy now. Hard hit from Baggett as he lines one into right. And the inning continues as it goes to James Moses with 2 runs already coming across and a runner now on.
Does look like Martin's running out of steam a little bit, just not the same sharpness that was there early in the game. A lot more barrels coming off the bat of Unicorns hitters. But what I do like from the Unicorns, the consistency I asked for. Hey, they got it done early yesterday and then kind of coasted to the finish line. They've done it now in 2 different innings.
Moses shows bunt, a back pick from Beadle, almost got Baggett. He didn't slide into the bag, but was able to get back in time. Moses pulled it back in time for ball 1. Martin nearing the century mark on the pitch count. High and tight, 2-0. Just might get there. The velocity has dwindled down as the night has gone on too. The fastball started around 88, 87. That last one in at 84. And this one's into the gap in right. Dixon racing over. It's slicing towards him, so he'll make the grab. 2 more thanks to Jacob Bisharat. 2-run blast, his second of the year, 7-2. The Mammoths have pulled in front by 5 here on the USBBL Network.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
'Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
Seven to 2. Unicorns lead the Mammoths in the bottom of the 5th. You want to talk about the difference between the 2 starts. 100 pitches almost for Garrett Martin, and he's given up a pair of home runs and 7 runs total. And look at that number below the 5th inning for Tristan Harvin. 45 pitches despite the 2 runs has been quick. He gave up those 2 runs in the 3rd inning on a trio of hits, and he responded with a 5 pitch inning. He went 1, 2, 3 to end the 4th. So now it's Dre Williams-Nelson, Zach Beadle, and Alex Garbasic, the 7, 8, 9 for the Mammoths.
And they were in this same spot when they needed an answer last time. It was Williams-Nelson, slapped a hit the other way, stole a base, and then a triple.
Williams-Nelson skies it the opposite way, but foul.
Triple from Garbasic brought him in to score. Can Williams-Nelson be a spark plug for his 2nd straight at bat?
The 0-1 outside. Nija Nelson on YouTube says, "Go Dravion," and the water/bat doggy JJ, our bat dog here at Jimmy John's Field, a fan favorite. Maybe a broken bat, little pop fly to the shortstop as Baggett collects it.
It is the best part of the day when we first get here, come up to the press box, and JJ's just laying around, getting ready for his big day.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes. Not all the fans know the press box is JJ's chill spot when he's not out there working. We get to see him all the time. We're very spoiled up here in the booth.
Yes, we are. With JJ, it's awesome.
We've been spoiled tonight because, partner, we got what we asked for.
Yes, we did. And again, a little more behind the scenes. When we're down at batting practice, there have been about 2 or 3 days where the ball has just been absolutely flying out of the park. I mean, there are guys in BP who might hit 1 home run on the season that are putting 2, 3, 4 out in a round. And those are the days we get the 2-1 games where there's no home runs. Last night was one of those. Now, there was a lot of runs scored, but no home runs. Today in the limited BP, I don't know, there's maybe 1 home run, and now 2 in the game. It just feels like the opposite. When we're expecting home runs, we never get them. And when we're just like, okay, whatever, we're not going to get the home runs, that's when the long ball's working.
Now, I will say, if you had to look at the Unicorns lineup and take your pick of 2 separate guys who would hit home runs, you'd pick Baker and Bisharat.
They would have the short odds, absolutely.
High and tight on Beadle as he just gets out of the way. 2-2. Baker with a now league leading, tied with Chris Davis of the Beavers, 4 home runs on the season. Bisharat collected his 2nd. That's his first in a public game this year. 2-2. Chopped on the ground, foul. Bisharat, if you weren't listening last night, had a home run robbed in the non-public game in the morning, he said, by Chris Davis out in center against the Beavers. Just adding to your point, Brady, of hitting the ball well, seeing it well, good swings. 2-2. Swing and a miss right under the barrel, in on the hands with the fastball from Tristan Harvin.
It was a very late swing. I think Beadle was sitting off speed there. When you sit off speed and they come with the fastball, it's almost impossible to make that adjustment and speed back up.
Just going back to the Bisharat home run, it was funny talking to him during BP last night before the game about some of those good swings and that home run that he had robbed. And and I said, well, baseball's a process-driven game. It's, you and I always talk about, it's not about the result, it's about the process. And
right.
He was walking up to go take his BP swings, and he looked back and he kind of chuckled and he goes, yeah, but the result would be nice too.
Yes.
He got it tonight, so has to feel good for Jacob Bisharat to get that result.
Sometimes you just need to open Pandora's box, and then you'll get a few more to come. Once you get that good feeling, once you get that momentum. Now, the bad news for Bisharat is last game for the weekend, so he's going to have to wait a while outside of the next at-bat or 2 he'll get tonight to get back at the plate.
3 balls and no strikes on Alex Garbasic. Had the triple to start the 3rd, or to add on to the 3rd. That was the RBI triple. Now he's in a good hitter's count, 3-0. Nobody on and 2 outs. He looks at strike 1. Garbasic, one of those guys that came to the USPBL, a product of Taylor Jellikowski and Justin Karn at Madonna for 5 seasons. Now has 10 professional games under his belt. He's 5 for his first 28 at-bats before tonight. More walks than strikeouts, 6-4, so that's a good baseline to start with. Got his first professional RBI with that triple tonight as well. The 3-2. Fly ball right side, foul. Bisharat a long run over his shoulder, makes the nice catch. That's a difficult play, tougher than it looks, to record the 3rd out. Tristan Harvin, after giving up 2 runs in the 3rd, has retired 8 straight batters as we head to the 6th. It's 7-2 Unicorns here from downtown Utica.
These business owners find the time for peace of mind because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier health care and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
It's like we're giving out some living donor prizes tonight here at Jimmy John's Field. Nice looking. Is that one of those cooler bags, I think? Keep the drinks cold on a hot summer day.
Really nice when you're going to the beach.
Absolutely.
When you don't want to lug a big old cooler.
Pretty good spot to watch a game up there. Those are the suites above us here in the press box, the upper level suite seating here at Jimmy John's Field. New pitcher on the mound for the Woolly Mammoths. It's Seth Beard taking over for Garrett Martin. The start does not look great when you look at the box score for Martin. 5 innings, 9 hits, and 7 runs. All of them are earned. A couple of walks and 3 strikeouts. The stuff just wasn't quite there for Martin today. And it seemed like the Unicorns lineup, who got a lot of offense last night, has continued. They're finding their stride. And on a night where Martin maybe just wasn't perfect, that's a bad combination.
Well, it's interesting when you look at the 5 innings. In the 2 innings he gave up a hit is when he gave up all 7 runs and all 9 hits. In the other 3, he gave up a couple of walks. That was back in the first, but when he was on in an inning, it was bang, 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 feast or famine for him. The unfortunate part is when the offense was feasting, they were feasting a lot, to the tune of, well, 2 home runs that totaled 6 of the 7 runs.
Curiel for the 3rd inning tonight is leading off. It'll be Curiel, Gooden, and Diaz, the 9-1 and 2 hitters. Donovan is 1 for 2 tonight. Singleton scored in that 5-run 3rd inning. Beard, the 26-year-old out of LaGrange, North Carolina. 5 pitches in the arsenal, a 4-seam fastball, slider, cutter, changeup, and curveball. And he spikes one outside, 1-1.
Maybe overthrew it a bit. One came in at 91 on the gun, but when it's behind a left-handed, well, would be a left-handed batter, that makes it, doesn't do you much good no matter how fast you throw it.
1-1. Misses high with the fastball. 2-1. Beard, a minor leaguer after 4 seasons at Methodist University in Fayetteville, North Carolina. That one misses the barrel of Curiel, 2-2. Now this is really nerdy, but the 2 locations associated with Seth Beard, LaGrange, North Carolina, and Fayetteville, North Carolina, both music related. LaGrange, a fantastic song by ZZ Top, and Fayetteville is the hometown of one of my favorite rappers, J. Cole.
How long have you been waiting to pull that one out?
I really just noticed it now. I just noticed it when I noticed Fayetteville. I've made the LaGrange joke a couple of times this season already. Curiel down on swings for the first out. But I just realized Fayetteville. After those 4 seasons in Fayetteville with Methodist University, Seth went on to play rookie ball in the Milwaukee Brewers organization. Only got 12 1/3 innings. This is back in 2019, pre-COVID. 3.65 ERA in those 12 1/3 innings. Decent start. All of those were in relief. Good reliever numbers. Over 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. The walks were around 5. That's about average for a minor leaguer. But was a victim of the COVID cuts. Spent 2021 still in Milwaukee, but this time with the American Association, with the Milwaukee Milkmen.
And that 2020 COVID season really seems to be like that check mark, focus point.
It's the bold season for all players.
That a lot of guys, all right, there's before and after that point.
On the ground for Gooden. That's past a ranging Williams Nelson, so he gets a base hit on the ground into center field, and the Unicorns continue to hit. That's their 10th of the night into double digits.
Third time Gooden's reached base today. He's done a nice job out of the leadoff spot for Jim Essien and his Unicorns.
Gooden on the year. 229 before tonight. That's going to go up as of right now. Brings up Angel Diaz, 0 for 3. In his first public game with the league. Was 1 for 5 in 2 games before today. Hit for 300 average at Weber International. We mentioned in his last at-bat he was teammates with Hopper's second baseman Luis Acevedo. Those two hit 3 and 4 in the Weber International lineup during their time together. Acevedo was the 3-hole hitter to get on base, and Diaz was the 4-hole hitter with a little bit of pop. First baseman for them. 17 home runs in his 3 years in college. Behind in the count, 0-2, and skies one shallow right. Going back is Williams Nelson to make the grab.
Not too often you see the second baseman call off the right fielder.
And again, you could hear him from up here calling it. He did. That's the second time he's done that tonight.
Say you call off the right fielder, better catch it.
You better be right.
Yeah, that's one of those situations. Again, maybe in a week or two, Castillo comes in, but yeah, two guys that haven't played a lot of ball together. Not too surprising. Talked about it a couple innings ago. The chemistry in a league like the USPBL where you're constantly getting new teammates.
And that's the way they teach it at a young age as an infielder on one of those kind of no man's land pop flies. You go back until you hear your outfielder call you off when they come in. Now it's Nick Pastor, 1 for 2 with a walk tonight. Just gets out of the way with the fastball, 1-1.
Pastor, another player that's had a pretty good night. Walk and a single. He's come around to score. Picked up right where he left off, basically, before the All-Star break.
Was listed to the All-Star team. Opposite way into left. Hacklin ranging to his right. Little grab on the run. The Unicorns threaten with one base runner, but nothing more than that, as Beard is safely out of the top of the 6th. It'll be the Mammoths batting when we come back after the break on the USPBL Network.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
It is still Tristan Harvin's ball game into the 6th inning, and rightfully so. He's retired 8 batters in a row after giving up 3 hits and 2 runs in the 3rd inning. Other than that, this scorecard is unblemished from Harvin tonight. Just 60 pitches. He's averaging 10 pitches per, and actually less than that, because we're not even in the 6th yet.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good night for Tristan Harvin. But we talked about it in the early innings. That 3rd time through the order is usually when you see the batting averages jump. Well, who's due up? 1, 2, 3 in the Mammoths order for the 3rd time. Let's see how Hussein, Dixon, and Castillo handle seeing Harvin for the third time and how Harvin changes it up.
Hussein struck out the first time and then had an RBI single back in the third inning. Matchup number 3 with Harvin starts off with a base hit into right center field. Partner, you were right on time as Jordan Hussein's got 2 hits tonight.
A nice job out of the leadoff spot. When you only have the 3-pitch mix like Tristan Harvin does, don't have as much to dip into. You really have to change up that sequencing a lot because there's not a whole lot that the other guys haven't seen.
And I think when you've got just 3 pitches, you're looking, I mean, he mainly plays the splitter off the fastball, and the curveball is the tertiary pitch that he can use. As Dixon swings, and it's a fly ball right field that is hooking foul, though. Hard hit off the bat, but just a long strike. Second time we've had that from a batter tonight. Josh Baker almost hit a home run the other time.
He's been seeing the ball well tonight. Remember, he just missed one in right center last time up.
But when you've got just 3 pitches and you mainly use the 2 to play off each other, I think where you get to be creative is the location of them. Typically, pitchers are not looking to throw a changeup or a splitter high in the zone. Maybe you got to get someone out a third time. They're not expecting a high splitter. You hit them with something high off speed that looks like a fastball, and they swing out in front of it. We'll see what Harvin can get done here in the 6th. The 1-1 inside, and it's not an easy way to start as Hussein's already on base, and he's got to face Burl Dixon, who he's already got out twice, which I think favors Dixon in this at-bat.
He hit it hard to second and hit it hard to the outfield. Like I said, he's going to be a hard guy to double off should you get him to hit a ground ball. Scott can't miss middle.
2-2. Dixon also works more walks than anybody on the Mammoths roster.
19.
Go with 14 strikeouts.
Right. To go with the average coming into the day over 350. Yeah, that's a pretty good ball player. The numbers like him. The eye test likes him. It's hard not to like Burl Dixon on the baseball diamond.
3-2. He leads one of the better offenses in the league in average on base, slugging, OPS, RBIs, walks, and stolen bases.
So he leads them in, basically any category.
Yeah. 3-2. Fouled away. I'm sure we don't have the total data. We should get it soon. I'm sure he leads them in pitches seen per at-bat as well. He's already seen 6 in this one. We'll see at least 7.
And I know there's a runner on first with nobody out, but just the way he's swinging it, I'd try to nibble at a corner. And if I walk him, I know you're going to 3, 4, 5, but, man, the way Burl's been swinging it, I don't want to miss bad.
And I think Harvin had the same idea as you and just missed trying to nibble at that corner. Dixon takes a walk. First 2 are on for the Mammoths in the 6th.
And that's the first walk of the day for Tristan Harvin. When you get to the 6th inning and you hadn't surrendered a walk, you've had a pretty good day. Now you got to focus on finding that ground ball.
I was just about to say, our director PJ is right in sync with us. Now you start thinking about the bullpen if you're the Unicorns, as Garrett Bonnet is getting warm up there. Nick Caruso is going to come out and talk it over with Harvin. Likely Castillo will maybe be his last batter.
Yeah, this is a situation where as a pitcher, I know you always want to be on the mound, but you've got to be honest with your manager and the guys making the decisions, because if this inning goes sideways, you give up a crooked number. Now you go into the final third of the game, and the Mammoths are right back in it.
It doesn't feel like this Mammoths team is out of this game just yet, despite a couple home runs and a 5-run deficit that they've given up. Castillo fly ball to right center field. This one's all the way to the gap. This one is caught. Long run for James Moses. Hussein thought about tagging. I didn't think Moses had a chance to get to that ball, but he took a dead sprint and a great line, and that's the first out. Holds both runners in their spots too.
I'll admit it fooled me too. That ball just hung up there. Like it hit a wall. I don't know if above the tree line, if there's a little bit of a jet stream coming in. But off the bat, I thought, uh-oh, there's a souvenir. If nothing else, it's getting to the track. You're right. I thought there was zero chance that James Moses was getting over there. Credit to him. Had a good jump, and, well, what looked like to be a double and a run coming in, just an out.
Liam pops it high to Gooden out there in left. Excuse me. Oh, that is Gooden. It originally was Angel Diaz, and Gooden was at third, so I guess we've got to set the defense for you. That's Patrick Baggett at third, Donovan Curiel at short, Alejandro Lara at first, or excuse me, at second. And that's Bisharat still over there at first. So the outfield is Gooden, Pastor, and Moses. Eberett still behind the plate. Swing and a miss for Livingston Morris. Quiet night for him. 0 for 3 with 3 contact outs.
He is an intimidating presence in that right-handed batter's box. Whole lot of human standing from the right side.
No balls and 2 strikes. Harvin, a strike away from getting out of the jam. On the ground, Curiel will field. He'll go to second, and just like that, Tristan Harvin surrenders a base hit and a walk, and right after that, it's 1, 2, 3. If that's the end of his day, it's been a fantastic day for Harvin with 73 pitches. Might see him come out in the 7th. We'll find out in just a few moments, but first, the Unicorns are going to bat in the top of the 7th when we come back.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll,
Thanks, Johnny.
benefits
It's time for our
administration, and more.
Portillo's Dizzy
Working with
Dog
one of the
Challenge
nation's
today.
top
So
professional
on our
employer
first base side, we have
organizations
Ruby and
provides access
Lewis,
to top-tier
and we have their
healthcare,
sibling
employee
Simon over
benefit
here in the
plans,
orange
and
shirt,
Tryon's
and his
team
friend
of
Christian.
attorneys and
So what's
HR
going to happen
experts.
today
With Tryon,
is one of the
you don't
contestants
have
is
to
going
grow
to
it alone.
spin around the bat
Visit
for 10 seconds, and they're not going to cheat, or I will stop counting. And then after 10 seconds, they're going to grab the hot dogs and see how many they can make in this tray over here. All right, you guys ready?
Whether you're a goal getter,
Yes, okay.
or a dream chaser,
3, 2,
an
1,
empty
start
nester,
spinning.
or up and comer.
10,
Anyone in Michigan can
9,
bank with us.
Ruby, spin
Michigan
faster.
Schools and Government
8,
Credit Union.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab the hot dogs. All right, here we go. Let's see their first tosses. We got one on this side. We got 2. It's all right, Ruby, a little higher, girl. There you go. All right, here we go. A few more left. One more hot dog on this side. All right, how many we got over there on first base? We got 2 over here. We got 3 over here. Christian and Simon are our winners today, but we'll still give those guys over there a big round of applause, but Simon gets to go home with
Hot dog toss
some
here at
sibling
Jimmy John's
rivalry.
Field. We're deep into what's been a good game, despite it being a 5-run lead for the Unicorns. The Mammoths have threatened. They just haven't been able to scratch too many across against Tristan Harvin, who has been shut down tonight for the Unicorns. Seth Beard going out for his 2nd inning of work, came on in relief of Garrett Martin to start the 6th. Gave up a base hit to Lucas Gooden, but that was it. So he'll face Eberett, Baker, and Bisharat, 4, 5, 6, that have done plenty of damage tonight. 4 hits and 2 home runs between these 4, 5, and 6 hitters.
Eberett was hitting well, coming back into the game in his return to Jimmy John's Field. Add 2 more hits and an RBI to the equation. And yeah, I think he's comfortable here in Utica.
He has played on every team except the team he's facing. Started his USPBL career with the Diamond Hoppers back in 2021. Then moved on to a different independent league. Came back halfway through the season last year with the Beavers, 34 games, and now he's a Unicorn. Beard delivers the 1-2 breaking ball, misses well outside. Beard this season a 5.84 ERA and 12 1/3 innings of work. 2-2 back up the middle, and Williams-Nelson is there to throw over to first and get Aberrett by a couple steps.
Got Aberrett to chase one a bit off the plate away. All they could do is really roll over that. Nice 2-strike pitch by Beard. Have to imagine they're going to ask him, obviously, to get through the 7th. He might be a guy coming back out in the 8th for a 3-inning relief appearance.
Taylor Jellikowski is no stranger to pushing the most out of his pitchers. That bullpen is barren. Baker looks at a strike. We saw last year a couple times. We saw Colin Ledbetter, who was mainly a reliever and a candidate for reliever of the year all season long. Towards the end of the year, when a couple guys went out with injury, as Baker pops it up in play for Garbasic. When a couple guys went out with injury, what did Taylor Jellikowski do? He just threw his reliever, Colin Ledbetter, who had averaged probably an inning per appearance, out there to start a game, and Colin just went 8 innings and immediately became one of the better starters in the league. He did that, and then his second time out, he went out for 7 innings, and that's what he did with Kyle Bischoff in the offseason. Bischoff was a reliever last year. We talked about Kyle earlier in this broadcast. Brought him back as a starter this year. When I asked him about that, he said, well, I wanted to do what I did with Colin last year. You know, and it was funny. He said Bischoff's too nice of a guy to be a closer. You have to be mean and not care about the feelings of other people to be a closer. And he said Kyle's just too nice, so he made him a starter. And it worked out because he's no longer here. He's playing with the Minnesota Twins organization.
Absolutely. By the way, Beard just got away with one. Hung a breaking ball middle to Bisharat. Bisharat looked skyward. I think he knew he let one go by.
He checks his swing foul.
But I'm always curious how the approach can be different. Where some guys, hey, it doesn't matter, throw them on a mound, put a batter in front of them, they'll attack the hitter. But some guys, they are very regimented in their roles. If they either can't come out of the bullpen or they can't start a game, they just get, again, it's what we talked about earlier, baseball, the mental side, how some guys are very analytic and some guys just go and do it, how some guys can be starters all the time, reliever doesn't matter, and other guys, once they get in a role, if they stray from it, just it doesn't work for some people.
2-2. And Beard spikes the curveball, 3-2. Seventh inning brought to you by Pepsi on the U.S. PBL network. 7-2. Unicorns lead the Mammoths. Full count for Bisharat. Nobody on and 2 out. Back up the middle, and that will be dive and stop by Nelson. The throw to first, not in time. What a ranging play to make that stop. Couldn't get the throw over to first in time, and a nice job by Bisharat to run it out. Boy, that was close to being a spectacular play by Dre Williams-Nelson.
Heck of a hustle. For a second, I thought Beard was going to backhand it behind his back.
Yeah.
He just kind of threw the glove at it and almost snagged it. But Williams-Nelson, he gave everything he had on that play.
It was funny. I was talking to Nick Caruso, assistant manager for the Unicorns today, and he was telling us about how Dre Williams-Nelson is so good defensively. I was making the joke that Taylor Jellikowski had another minor league guy, and he said, well, listen, this guy is already one of the best defenders in the league. He's already made like 6 good plays, and he even noted a non-public play where he said he went full Superman, full extension to make a diving stop, which we just saw right there. Now it goes to him again on the ground. Doesn't have to dive this time as it's easily scooped up. The putout goes 4-3. The Unicorns get a base hit. Nothing more. 7th inning stretch time on the U.S. PBL network. As always, Take Me Out to the Ballgame is brought to you by Genesis Credit Union. We'll be back after this.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Tristan Harvin has gone 6 deep. He'll try to go 7. He comes out with 73 pitches thrown already. He'll face Hacklin, Williams-Nelson, and Beadle. 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Mammoths lineup that is trying to get back in this game.
Have to imagine Harvin is going to have some of the shortest leash, not because he's pitched poorly. He's actually pitched obviously very well outside of 1 inning. But you don't want what has been a very nice start to deteriorate into something not as strong.
Hacklin muscled into right, and that's an easy grab for Moses, and that's exactly what Harvin wants in this situation. 1 pitch and 1 out.
And we saw with Garrett Martin, that last inning, you could tell he had run out of steam a little bit. You could tell he was on fumes and ended up giving up a couple extra runs. Harvin, at least through 1 pitch, didn't look like that against a good batter in Hacklin.
I've got a stat for you.
Let's hear it.
By my unofficial scorecard, that 1 pitch out for Tristan Harvin is the 6th batter to do that tonight. 1 pitch and an out recorded.
And that's going to be a conversation Taylor Jelenkowski has in the clubhouse. Hey, it's great if you're aggressive. You know, you get 2 or 3 in a game. That's nothing too bad, but you need to be patient and work up a guy's pitch count.
Curiel fields the bouncer from Williams-Nelson, and it's just 3 pitches and 2 outs for Harvin.
Being aggressive is the double-edged sword. Last night we saw it with the Unicorns. In the first inning, they were swinging 2-3 pitches into at-bats, and they had racked up 10 hits before everyone had scanned their tickets and sat in their seats. But this is the flip side of it. When you're not getting those base hits, now all of a sudden you're 1 out away from getting through the 7th inning, under 80 pitches if you're Tristan Harvin.
We were barely on air before the Unicorns had put up a 5 spot. Beadle's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts against Harvin tonight. The last strikeout Harvin recorded was against Beadle in the 5th. He won't get one here, but he will get an out if Moses can do that. 1, 2, 3. Tristan Harvin. He might come out for the 8th. That was so fast. A 5-pitch inning, and we're done. We'll head to the 8th.
Companies are competing for talent like never before. With the complexities of handling tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and other HR functions, it's easy to see how a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions makes all the difference. Tryon empowers businesses of all sizes to attract and retain talent by offering access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
At Ascension, Michigan, we're committed to being your first choice for healthcare. Our nationally recognized heart program is the leader throughout Michigan in minimally invasive heart valve procedures. For joint replacement, spine, and cancer care, patients choose our specialists for advanced care and treatment. And we also excel in the things that can't be measured. Listening more closely, caring more compassionately.
Seth Beard does a good 2 innings of work in relief after Garrett Martin, so now it's Nathan Witt's turn. Beard goes 2 innings, 2 hits, no runs. Kept it where it is, but where it is a 5-run deficit for the Mammoths. Witt will try to continue against Moses, Curiel, and Gooden, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Nathan Witt, the 27-year-old native of the Mitten State here in Goodrich, Michigan. You know, we make the joke, but it is a legit fact that there are just a lot of minor league guys on Taylor Jelenkowski's roster. We talked about Trey Williams-Nelson. He's one of the few position players. Burl Dixon's another minor league guy. Seth Beard, who came on in relief. And also Nathan Witt. He was drafted by the Dodgers in the 17th round of the MLB June amateur draft before spending a season at Michigan State in 2017. Excuse me, after. He was drafted in that 2017 year and then spent 2 seasons in rookie ball with the Dodgers, then 3 more with the Rays. He was in minor league ball as recently as March 24th of this year, 2023, with the Blue Jays at the AA level with the New Hampshire Fisher Cats before he was released back in March.
It's not hard to see why. 6'4", 235, commanding presence on the mound. And he can hum it in there as you see that fastball touches 94. It's pretty good.
For Witt, 2-seam fastball, cutter, slider. Electric stuff out of the bullpen. He's one of those guys that as soon as he got here, Taylor Jellikowski said, look out because you might not see much of him.
When you're talking about connections, I know it's local, but there's a fair number of Michigan State guys in the USPBL, and he's another one of them.
Yep. We've got Witt, Connor Tomasic. This one's on the ground to Williams-Nelson. He's fielded, is that 3 in a row that have gone his way? That is.
I don't know if that base hit from Bisharat went his way, but he made it go his way.
Yeah, that's true. He dove out there and got it up the box. But so, yeah, we've got Witt. Bischoff is not here anymore, but was. Connor Tomasic. Reese Trahey was here earlier. He was a Michigan State guy. Scott Combs, catcher for the Mammoths. Not getting the start tonight is Zach Beadle's in there.
Yeah, the Spartans might be the most well-represented. I don't know about now with some of the guys coming and going, but they're definitely one of the most represented schools.
Curiel on the ground is short. Hussein throws out his fellow shortstop by a step. 2 up and 2 down. There's another Spartan in the USPBL.
I was going to say, that's if we don't count you.
Yeah. It is really fun to have that connection with some of these guys here. We were mentioning Scott Combs being the backup catcher. We missed a defensive substitution. That's him in the catcher's gear right there, actually. Just got a good look at him without his mask. He wears number 1 and Beadle wears number 3, which it's protected by the actual backing of that catcher's chest protector.
And the home plate umpire.
Yes, so we couldn't see it, but it is Scott Combs in place of Zach Beadle behind the dish. But yeah, it is fun talking. You know, I talked to Connor Tomasic a lot about his experience at Michigan State and with the baseball program that I have gotten to call games for and, you know people there and stuff like that.
By the way, 95 on that last fastball. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, not at all. I gladly interrupted by the heater from Witt. That one's also 95 but misses low. Gooden has had a good day, 2 for 3 plus a walk. No pun intended. 1 and 2. And the looping curveball, slider, misses outside. 2 and 2 on Gooden. The pitch speedometer on the board here in between those pitches said 136 for a minute, and
yeah, I don't
wouldn't be too surprised from Witt.
Oh, that one might even be a little generous.
Right. 2-2, not quite 100. It's 91 with the cutter. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Come with the challenge fastball. 3-2 rear back. Get out of the inning. 1-2-3.
Got the first 2 outs pretty easily. Both ground outs to the middle infield. Payoff pitch and yanked the fastball, and he walks Gooden. Brings up Alejandro Lara, his first at bat. He was substituted defensively into the game a couple innings ago. I think that was back in the 6th. First time he's gotten to bat tonight. Fouls it back on the first pitch. Last night went 1 for 4 had a 2-run base knock in the first inning, and then the rest were strikeouts, 3 of them. Runner goes 0-1, bounce to third. Nice play by Garbasic, and a good pick over there by Fox Liam at the bag to record the third out. A couple of defensive standouts for the Mammoths. Unicorns strand a runner. It's 7-2. The Mammoths batting when we come back.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood and discover the funner you hidden within you. The you that doesn't think about adult things and stuff. Ashley, I don't want to hear anything about your car registration when you're at Dave & Buster's.
Okay.
The you want to be. Let the Dave & Buster's method illuminate you. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
Tristan Harvin, 7 innings pitched, only 4 hits given up, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts and 1 walk, and we're not done. He comes out for the bottom of the 8th after throwing just 5 pitches in the 7th inning. He'll face Garbasic, Hussein, and Dixon, barring any substitutions into the 8th, the 9-1 and 2 hitters for the Mammoths.
And we were talking in the break, unofficially, because we aren't 100% sure, but we believe with pretty good certainty that this is the first pitcher to pitch into the 8th inning this year.
I have not seen one do it in person yet. So I believe this is the first league-wide that we've seen go into the 8th. He hasn't had a strikeout since the 5th. And it came to Zach Beadle. Since then, it's been all contact outs.
The longest I've seen, I believe, was Ryan Carolden when he went 6 2/3 back on June 23rd.
And Harvin not off to a great start with how efficient he's been. 3 balls and no strikes on Garbasic, who already's got a triple tonight. 3-0, Garbasic taking all the way. It's a fastball bending in for strike 1. 7 runs on 11 hits and no blemishes for the Unicorns. 2 runs on 4 hits and no errors for the Mammoths. Now make it 5 hits as that gets past or drops in front of James Moses. I had to pause for a second because we've already had 1 fly ball to right center tonight that I thought Moses had no chance to get to, and he made me look stupid.
I was going to say that right center gap's been tough to see, but they're going to leave Tristan Harvin out there. I thought for sure it was going to be short leash, hey, get a base runner on. We gave you the chance, but they are rolling with them. I mean, 83 pitches is not a crazy number. You can still get about 10 more in about this point in the year. And you have to know each pitcher individually as well.
No balls and a strike. I just think this is surprising because we don't typically see Jim Essien do this. Last year, it was a lot of not bullpen days, but your starter which the Unicorns never really found a consistent starter who could get deep into the games. But last year, it was a lot of the starter would go 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 for the bullpen. Right. And they had one of the best bullpens in the league, so they were able to do that. They have one of the best bullpens in the league this year as well. But it's all more, there's more parity. Everybody's more in the middle rather than one team significantly above the others. We just don't usually see this. And early this year, Jim Messian's kind of managed the bullpen the same way.
Maybe Tristan Harvin's just a really convincing guy.
I think it goes to show you how good Harvin is tonight and how much Messian trusts him and his stuff to go out there and just get outs. And we talked about it. You know, he hasn't struck anybody out since the 5th inning. With Garbasic getting on, he's only allowed 3 base runners since the 4th inning. So who cares if he's not striking guys out? If you're getting outs, you're getting outs.
Well, and that's why his pitch count's so low.
Right.
You get usually the high strikeouts equals high pitch count, but mixed in there, like you said, last inning, 6 first pitch outs. That'll help it out a ton.
It is the 3rd 3-ball count in a row as it's full against Hussein. Other than the walk to Dixon in the 6th, unofficially by my scorecard, there's only one other 3-ball count. Fly ball to center. Pastor ranging into his left makes the grab.
That is a very quiet Unicorn dugout.
Bonnet was warming in the bullpen. He's still milling around.
He's been warming for like 3 innings
It's
now.
funny. He's milling around by the door. I think he wants to be released and get on. You can barely see him behind the umbrellas, but that's him over there.
Yeah,
on
that
the
far
left
left umbrella. You can kind of see the catcher mask.
Those 3 red pixels on your screen. That's his head, I think. Burl Dixon takes outside his 4th at bat tonight. Quiet night for Burl. Atypical. 0 for 2 with a walk. It means this is a guy that, you know, people make the joke about, oh, he's due. And Dixon is a guy who screams due. 359 average this season before today. Not too many times is he going to go 4 plate appearances without a base knock.
Still worked a walk in there. Now league leading 20 walks.
Yep. One. Smoked foul. Beatlemania tomorrow night for our doubleheader between the Mammoths and Hoppers. You Beatles fan, Brady?
I respect them. Just
who's like not a Beatles fan, you
right?
know?
I mean, it's hard to actively dislike them.
Right.
Just
now the 1-2. Dixon pops it up. Aberrett discards the mask. Baggett converges. It'll be Aberrett just outside the foul ground Jimmy John's logo, and that's the 2nd out.
And that is a very quiet way to get Dixon down, and 1 out away from going 8 strong.
93 pitches for Tristan Harvin. 93 pitches and just 3 different ones. A 3-pitch mix for this guy. Fastball, splitter, curveball. On the ground, right to Harvin. And that is a perfect way to likely end Tristan's day. The putout goes 1-3 as Tristan Harvin struts off the mound. 8 strong innings, 7 strikeouts, just 2 runs allowed, and he's put his team in prime position to win this game. They're up 7-2 when we come back.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Fifth Third Bank. Yeah, it's a quirky name. But here's the thing. 5/3 equals 166.7%. So we put 166.7% into everything we do. like automatically getting you your paycheck up to 2 days early, giving you well-deserved extra time to avoid overdraft fees, and helping you borrow from your future self. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood and reset our life around zapping stuff and cheering for stuff with your friends. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Top of the ninth, Unicorns possibly adding to their 7-2 lead with Pastor, Aberrett, and Baker. Against Nathan Witt, who comes out for a second inning of work. Walked good in last time, and that was it. 3 contact outs for Witt. First pitch, high bouncer to Fox Liam, who will underhand flip to Witt, who wins the race with Pastor to the bag.
Something in the air tonight about first pitch swinging.
Yeah, a lot.
There has been an abnormal amount of first pitch outs. I mean, you want to talk about pace of play. It's 9:15, and we're in the 9th inning. And it's 9 runs have scored.
I've got 7 from the Unicorns first pitch outs.
That's what, 13 total, I believe?
Well, the last one,
yeah,
Marcos
14.
Castillo. So 14, 7 each.
So, hold on, I got to do some quick math in my head. 45 outs, and what was it, 14 of them were first pitch outs?
Yeah.
If I did the math correct. I believe I did. So we'll go with that. So about a third of all outs have been first pitch outs.
Wouldn't it be 49? 6 outs per inning times 8 is 48 plus the 1.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, you're right, 49. I got to 24.
Not
then
math
I did
majors up
24
here.
times.
You saw how long it took me to get there.
Yes. So, okay, a little less than a third. And
swing and a miss for Aberrett for strike 1. You know what I can count to? 3. 3 strikes for Nathan Witt. 2 outs. Josh Baker, the fireworks before the fireworks. We'll have some after the game. He brought some during the game back in the 3rd inning. A grand slam to bust it wide open and put up a 5 spot on the board for the Unicorns. Since then, a couple pop outs. He's just 1 for 4 tonight.
And lost in the score, being down 5, Nathan Witt, outside that hit, has been a joy to watch.
He beat you to the announcer's jinx. You know that.
Yes, he did. I was going to give him some praise because, you know, okay, you come in to pitch down 5. We don't focus as much on the performance of the guy who's down, but his fastball has been lively, been consistently 95, 96. Basically, Baker was guessed off speed and got it right that time.
Bisharat with 2 hits tonight. Back-to-back at bats after his home run in the 5th. He singled in the 7th. He beat out that nice play from Trey Williams-Nelson at second base. And the 0-1 outside. Fox Liam not holding Josh Baker on at first.
Part of that score, part of it. Baker is not the biggest base stealing threat in the league.
Josh this season, 100%, 0 for 0 in stolen bases.
Well, undefined.
Yeah.
See, I do know that part of math.
Right.
One of the reasons I got into this specifically so I wouldn't have to take math classes in college.
Now they always get you with, they still make you take a few. Bisharat over to third. A nice backhand by Garbasic, but the throw skips away from Liam. Goes all the way to the dugout. Baker stops at third base. It's fielded by the right fielder Castillo with the long foul territory over here. That goes on the board as an error. Now Taylor Jellikowski is going to come out, have a discussion with Nathan Witt. There's nobody in the bullpen. And the infield will join. Some of them at least. Hussein's there, Scott Combs. Short conversation for Jellikowski.
That was very interesting because after that error, he came out fairly quickly, and it's a 7-2 game. That's not usually the spot you see a manager come out and talk to his pitcher.
So Baker advances to third on the error. He was going to get second anyways, as there were 2 outs. Garbasic was looking to just throw it to first. Baggett waiting on the 0-1. It would be James Moses next, should we get there. 25 pitches so far for Nathan Witt. He's the third pitcher to take over the mound tonight for the Mammoths. The 0-1. 1-1. Shelly Mariner Matheny on Facebook says, Josh Baker, thank you for the late birthday present. So excited for you. Baker with a 2-hit day in the Grand Slam, as we mentioned. Baggett swings through strike 2.
I think Baggett was trying to add to the home run parade with that one.
Baggett still looking for his first home run here in the league. 1-2. Inside. Oh, everybody shifted. I think even Baggett might have thought he looked at strike 3. Instead, it's 2-2.
Looked like it caught that inside corner. Well, I should say bell high on the inside part of the plate. Caught the black.
2-2. Fouled off. Baggett does lead the Unicorns in walks this season with 18. That will keep him in the lineup of 367 on base with his 183 average. Only 8 strikeouts. Two. On the ground, left side, Hussein sliding backhand stop, pop-up throw, and Liam can't hang on to the bag as it goes all the way into the dugout and out of play. The base runners are awarded an extra base, which means both runs score as Baker and Bisharat come around.
Now that error will go on Hussein, as it should. It was really smooth up into the throw, but I think it was hard to tell from this angle, but I think Liam tried to keep his foot on the bag too much. Instead of just coming off and grabbing it and letting the 1-run score, he tried to extend as far as he could and stretch to keep his foot on instead of just eating his loss. Either way, the throw was off the mark. It was a tough throw. Hussein rushed it a bit, but I think that may have what happened of why the ball got away.
Now, depending on how and when Witt gets out of the inning, those are likely 2 unearned runs. There's still a base runner on with Baggett over at second. High and outside for Moses, 1-1. Moses tonight 0 for 4. One of the few Unicorns who hasn't gotten in on the fun yet. He's made some nice defensive plays, though, out in right field. 2-2 as the fastball misses in on the ankles of Moses. 97 from Witt. He's only increasing the velocity.
Trying to find that put-away pitch.
Maybe a little anger behind that fastball as well.
I was going to say frustration, but I think in this situation they're one and the same.
2-2. Moses stays alive. Now 9 runs on the board for the Unicorns. The 2 for the Mammoths came back in the 3rd on a 3-hit inning. Other than that, Tristan Harvin has been perfect. We think his day is done, but we thought that, I'd say twice now.
I'd say 2 innings
Back-to-back innings, we thought his day was done.
I remember he came out, and I'm going, why is he coming out for the 7th? Shows what I know.
And then he popped out for the 8th. 3-2 now.
And then when he came out for the 8th, I'm going, all right. And then he gives up a hit. I'm like, all right, that's the end of his day.
Now he's done.
Nope.
Now he's done.
Yep.
Now he's done. Now, no.
There were a few handshakes when he was coming back in.
Yeah.
So I think with pretty good certainty, his day is done, but who knows the way he's been pitching.
3-2 to Moses, and Witt missed it outside with the fastball. Keeps it alive for Curiel. Second walk for Witt.
There's no one in the Mammoth bullpen, so it's Nathan Witt's inning. I mean, granted, he should have been out of the inning possibly twice over already.
I will say, bad throws from Garbasic and Hussein, but tough plays to field the ball both times.
You could argue, at least with one of them, that the runner would have been safe.
Curiel looked like he might have pushed one into no man's land, but not with Williams Nelson giving chase. They do finally get out of the inning. The Unicorns get 2 more, and now the Mammoths with their last shot are down 7th in the bottom of the 9th when we come back.
Check it out. Woo! Dang, this is clean right here. Ooh, I got it. Oh man, new area. Whoa, let's go.
Fire. I really like it. And the baby blue at the bottom. Those are tough. Really, those are tough. These are fire.
We're bad to the bone.
This is awesome.
Love this. Light blue. Gotta go white bag though. But perfect. I might throw 100 now. No way.
Oh, wow.
Dude, that's smooth.
Oh my gosh.
Put that on.
I'm ready to go, baby. Let's go.
This is nice. What, is it New Era? Yeah. Oh, fire. Is this one yours? Mine now.
What a start for Tristan Harvin. 8 complete innings of work, 5 hits given up, only 2 runs allowed, walked 1 batter, and struck out 7. He gets a well-deserved rest for the 9th inning as Garrett Bonnet will come on and try to close it out with a 7-run lead. He'll face the middle of the order, Liam Morris and Hacklin. A lot of power for the Mammoths, but the most important thing for them right now is some base runners.
Yeah, it starts with just getting the first guy on. I mean, 7 runs, that's quite the deficit. He's got to take it 1 at-bat at a time. Pull out the old book of cliches. Got to get 1 before you can get 7. So your Fox Liam, take a patient approach, see what Garrett Bonnet gives you, and if you can try to be a spark plug of any kind.
Bonnet, the 24-year-old out of Rockport, West Virginia, was an all-star last weekend. 3 years at Ohio Valley in college, then 2 more at LSU Shreveport. That's another pipeline in the USPBL. Yep. We had a couple of guys from Shreveport this year, and also I think we had 1 or 2 last year in the league. So far, 12 2/3 innings for Garrett, all in relief. 4.26 ERA, 11 walks and 12 strikeouts. Has struggled with the long ball a little bit. Something to pay attention to against this Mammoths lineup that is so imposing with the power. He's given up 3 home runs. Opponents hitting .235 against Garrett this year.
Pretty stress-free relief appearance. You know, if you miss, give up a long ball, you're only down 6 at that point. So you can be pretty aggressive and go after the heart of this order.
Mammoths only have Colby Seltzer available on the bench still, as Scott Combs already was substituted defensively for Zach Beadle. If it gets to Combs, he would be the 5th batter in this inning. Liam swings through strike 1, 1-1. Bonnet forcing fastball, slider, and splitter. Popped up. It will get over the screen. Yes. 1-2. Second night in a row, Unicorns relievers have come on in very stress-free situations.
They have to like what they're seeing from their offense. I mean, 17 runs in 2 games, pretty good pair of ball games for the weekend.
Last night, Jacob Harsany came on in the top of the 7th with an 8-1 lead. Andrew Huffman also got an inning of relief as well, and Liam is down on the swing and miss. A strikeout to start Bonnet's night, and there's only 2 outs left.
Yeah, lost in all the offense is the Unicorns pitching done what they've done all year. Been pretty darn good. And yeah, last night all the relievers came in and just, like you said, Harsany, Hoffman, and Bauman just kept the train rolling, and it rolled right into today.
The impressive stat with the Unicorns, too, when you consider that we don't have the numbers, but I would venture to say league average for ERA is in the 4 to 5 range. I bet it's closer to 5.
I would say the pitching's been pretty good this year, so maybe mid-low 4s,
yeah,
somewhere in there, though.
And with that, we're talking individual ERA. With that, there is not a pitcher on the Unicorns pitching staff that has an ERA above a 6, which is really impressive. Nobody's gone out there and even gotten blown up for an inning or 2. Most of these teams have at least 1 or 2 guys who they've got an ERA at 7, 8. There's an 11 in there because it's one bad inning or an infinity inning or something like that.
And look out, all the 3 other teams, if the Unicorns get the bats going consistently.
Yeah.
If this weekend is a sign for the rest of the year, look out.
On the ground is short. Curiel scoops it after a strange bounce. He's able to throw out Morris. Nice focus by Donovan Curiel. Hacklin is 0 for 3. Couple of strikeouts. One looking, one swinging, both against Tristan Harvin. And it's not going to be Hacklin. Pinch hitting will be Colby Seltzer. Seltzer, 1 for 22 so far this year in his first 9 games. Just has not been able to find it at the plate yet. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Seltzer out of Tarleton State for 3 seasons, then another final college season at Hardin-Simmons in Abilene, Texas. Does have 7 walks this year. Is able to find his way on base when they need it. Right now he's just looking to move the chain 1 spot.
And that was the pitch to do it on. It was a bell-tie breaking ball. Can't let that one go by you.
Last strike for the Mammoths. 1-2. Bonnet trying to get out and nearly clips Seltzer with the high cheese.
Don't want to see that, especially in a 7-run game in the 9th.
Nope.
Always hold your breath a little bit when it's high and in.
2-2. And Seltzer will see another. We mentioned tomorrow it's Mammoths and Hoppers in the doubleheader. Have not had word yet as to who the Mammoth starter might be. Swing and a miss. Seltzer goes down by the strikeout. Bonnet picks up a pair of strikeouts in his one inning of relief, and the Unicorns pick up their 13th win of the year. Now 13-9, 9-2, our final score over the Mammoths. The big headlines, Tristan Harvin, 8 complete innings, only 2 runs. He struck out 7. And then Josh Baker and Jacob Bisharat, the 5 and 6 hole hitters, doing damage tonight. Baker, a grand slam in the 3rd inning. Bisharat, a 2-run homer in the 5th. That's all the Unicorns would need to win this one by 7 runs over the Mammoths, who fall to 10-12. Partner, a very good weekend for the Unicorns. They're done for this weekend as they won't play tomorrow. There's no game Sunday. Couple of nice wins. They go 2-1, losing the morning game yesterday by only a run to the Beavers. They respond with a win last night, 8-1. Here, 9-2.
Absolutely, and the starting pitching, the story, as you mentioned, between Carsey Walker and Tristan Harvin, 14 innings, 3 earned runs, exactly what the Unicorns have been getting all season, and now add the, 17 runs between those 2 games. Yeah, that's a recipe for success. Like I said, look out if you're the rest of the USPBL, if the Unicorns are going to hit like this the rest of the way.
And we're still waiting for the Mammoths lineup to figure it out. It's a lineup that it's proven that they will. There's no way these guys can't hit, right?
They have a lot of good baseball players in that lineup.
We will see if they can get it all together. You see Tristan Harvin, pretty easy choice, despite there being a grand slam. 8 innings to be our player of the game. He's down there with Kara Wolfbauer.
Poor Josh Baker and Jacob Bisharat. They hit bombs, and it really wasn't even close. It wasn't that they didn't do what was required. Like on most days, Josh Baker's easily the player of the game, but it's just been one of the best pitching performances we've seen all year with Tristan Harvin today.
Kids are running the bases. This softy ball toss is going on out and right. The fireworks are getting set up in center field. It's a whole night of activities at Jimmy John's Field, and we've got one more for you on the broadcast. Kara Wolfbauer.
I'm here with Tristan Harvin, our dawn to dusk player of the game today, the starting pitcher for the Utica Unicorns. Now, Tristan went 8 innings today, only giving up 5 hits, 7 strikeouts, and only 1 walk. So what we were just talking about before going through all this today is, what did you do, Tristan, and maybe each inning as we went along and you kept performing to keep that stamina each time?
I just wanted to attack the zone and just get back in the dugout as quickly as I could.
And so the Mammoths have 3 new guys on their squad today coming in. You've never seen them before. What were you doing to prepare to face them tonight?
Honestly, just fill it up, and I don't know, that was about it. Just fill it up.
And how was the Utica Unicorns dugout feeling as you guys kept carrying it through? You had Josh Baker with a huge grand slam to start you guys off, go up 4-0, and then Jacob Bisharat with a home run as well. So how was the vibe in the dugout with the players for getting all those massive home runs tonight?
It was great in there. I mean, Baker, he can crush the ball, so that was fun to watch. But yeah, dugout was great tonight.
Awesome. Well, Josh Baker, too, was a contender for player of the game tonight, but we had to go with somebody who went all 8 innings today. But Josh Baker was awesome tonight. Huge, massive grand slam, putting the Unicorns up. So congratulations to the Utica Unicorns and Tristan Harvin on being our dawn to dusk player of the game. Now to everybody on our broadcast, we will close it out from here. Thanks to Brendan and Brady in the booth. Thanks to everybody up there who put on a great show tonight. Aaron, all my girls up there, Amanda. Everybody did fantastic tonight. And we'll close it out from here, and we'll see you guys next time at Jimmy John's Field. Enjoy the fireworks, everybody.
If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorns. If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we're unicorns. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see